as foreigners make you a minority. Another election, another bust. Go vote for that liar. It's a must. We were given the greatest gift of all. Decided to give it up and watch the fall. Yeah, it's just a clown world. We're living in a clown world. Join us in the clown world. It's easy to see that the joke's on you and the joke's on me.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is Wednesday, August 5th, 2026. Welcome into your home for political play-by-play, the Owen Report, with you for the next 3 hours. You know, guys, I got a problem. I have to tell you. I have a problem, and I was actually discussing this with producer DMT just last night. He can confirm this. Who knows? Maybe he pops in today. And I was explaining to him, I've got this problem where I am like addicted to news. I don't know how else to describe it. You know, it becomes a burden at a certain point. It's like, you know too much. You go crazy. Does that make me crazy? And I told him last night, I was like, we have to find a way to tap into this frustration that I was expressing yesterday. It can't just be me every day doing it. It doesn't make sense. It's redundant. I get sick of it. You get sick of it. It loses its value. It's like, how do we tap into that? We see all the signs around us. We see all the different symptoms of this dissident right, the disenfranchisement. There is no movement anymore. The left now has their movement that they're kind of rising with right now. We're over here like we don't know what to do. Most people on the right wing are still having an identity crisis. Do I want to support Trump? Do I not? They don't know. The issues, it's not good. The results, not good. But I don't know. I still like the access. I like the prestige. I still want to have faith. It's like all this identity crisis. Some of us have already leapt off. Some of us have already turned heel. Some of us have already figured it out, or we always knew our identity. And so I said, how do you tap into this frustration that is not really being reported anywhere else? You know, I just get it. I hear it because I just talk to people. And I said, I need to do a show. And I need to just beat this addiction. I can't do it, though. I'll tell you, I can't do it. I've got so much news today. I mean, good Lord. But I have to just make this commitment and say, I'm not going to cover news and do an entire show of just calls and call it the People's Report. The People's Report. And we just hear from you. And we just let you guys vent. Or maybe, tell us how great things are. It's the People's Report. Now, we're not going to be able to do that today because my addiction has taken over, and I've got more news here than I'll be able to even cover in 3 hours. And I think the addiction it's not the news, it's that I know nobody else is covering this. That's my frustration. I know that nobody else covers this. Everybody covers the mainstream slop. Everybody's angle, everybody's perspective is still driven from the mainstream, from the establishment, from DC. They can't think for themselves. They can't look at different angles, different perspectives. And so I think that's really what my pet peeve here is. Because I just know as a media consumer and critic that nobody else covers this stuff. A perfect example. With our guest last week, Taylor Hanson. And I told him, I said, hey, look, nobody's covering this. This is a big story you got here. You're doing great work. But the right wing doesn't want to talk about the borders right now for obvious reasons. So I hope that, at least if you come on the show here, we'll get some attention, some eyes on your story. And after the show, we got some other invites. So that's like the drive is I just know that we can only change narratives or viewpoints or drive these stories home or make them catch the consciousness of the American people if we actually cover them and if we actually explain how they're relevant and how they fit into the bigger picture. And nobody else really does it. So I'm not going to be able to do the People's Report today, unfortunately. I doubt I'm going to have time for phone calls. We got a guest coming up in the third hour. I've got so much damn news. You know, it is Groundhog's Day. Trump says there is a deal to open the Strait of Hormuz. Oh, okay. Great. Never been here before. Another day in Groundhog's Day. This is so crazy. I'm going to kind of skip the normal intro. That's going to be kind of my intro brief monologue here. But I'll just say there's a couple things happening right now that are just unreal. Unreal. There is a clip. This is one of the most phenomenal political clips this is like the clip of the year, honestly, so far, I would say. When it just comes to political discourse, dialogue, this is unreal. John Fetterman goes on with Jon Stewart. And it's amazing. You sit here and you think about Jon Stewart and the political circus that we've seen for the last 10 years. And, you know, Stewart doesn't shy away from politics, obviously. He did the Daily Show for a long time, and he got a little more personal, a little more cutting with it in his independent commentary. But this interview with Fetterman and with Stewart, Jon Stewart comes off as extremely fair and rational, and just like, yeah, that's totally rational. That's totally fair where Stewart is coming from. And then you listen to Fetterman, and it's just like, it's jarring. And even Jon Stewart was stunned. He was stunned listening to what Fetterman says. And so there's this weird thing happening right now where they can no longer hide the truth. Okay, so they can no longer hide the truth that all of these members of Congress are loyal to Israel over America. They don't hide it anymore. Now they just kind of go with the woke angle of, oh, you're an anti-Semite, or they go with the intelligence propaganda, which is, oh, it's in our best interests. But they can't deny it anymore. They can't deny it. They can't hide it. The AIPAC phenomenon is too big. The Israel influence is too obvious. So now they just accept it, and they just say, well, this is just how it works in D.C. And this is just, we're the good guys. And even Stewart is sitting there, jaw to the floor. He's like, wait a second. You're telling me you guys serve Israel? And Fetterman's like, yes. And he goes, that's a foreign country. And Fetterman's like, yeah. I'm telling you, he's going to be a Republican. And this will be one of those moments where you realize it'll be so undeniable. You don't have Democrats switching to be Republicans because the Republican Party is pro-America anymore. Democrats are switching to become Republicans because the Republican Party works for Israel now. Why do you think Donald Trump is promoting Alan Dershowitz, who's just a total grifter, by the way? Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer, he changes, oh, he's a Democrat, he's a Republican. Why he left the Democrats? Why he left the Republicans? He's just grifting, selling books, Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer. And Trump is promoting him. So I've got more on that. And then the other angle is with the economy. And then the other angle is with the affordability. And Trump has been lying about this. The Republicans, the GOP, part of their campaign pitch is that it's the golden age. And we're doing so great for the economy. Of course, everybody knows this is a lie. And so even though Trump has tried to get all of the right wing on board to engage in this propaganda, even though Trump has tried to get everybody on board to say, hey, just say the economy's great. Just say it's the golden age. Just believe it, baby. Just say it. Just believe it. It's the best of all times. It's the greatest it's ever going to be. That's what Trump said. Greatest it's ever going to be. It ain't working. It ain't working. So Trump's just embarrassed himself now, lying to the American people about the economy. And now the very right wing that Trump is trying to wrangle up and convince you that, hey, the economy is doing great. Ignore your own bank statements. Ignore your own budget. Ignore your own bottom line. The economy is the greatest it's ever been. Golden age, baby. Ignore the reality of the situation. Well, it's so ridiculous. All the MAGA people now that Trump is trying to wrangle up to push this message, now they're having to admit that it's unaffordable. Now they're having to admit that groceries are too expensive. And then they try to sell it to you. They say, well, this is your fault. You know, why don't you have a farm at home? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Shut the fuck up. Oh, I don't have a farm at home. You're a clown. You know, most HOAs, most major cities, they don't even let you have chickens. That's the America you live in. You can't even legally have a chicken. You're tell me why don't I have a farm? Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. And then they say, oh, hardy har har. I fed my family of 8 with $20 for burritos. It's like, who are you kidding? Who do you think you're talking to? So obviously these big fat lies get called out. These absurdities get called out. And then they say, oh, well, yeah, well, you know, we just had a bean and cheese burrito. We had a bean and cheese burrito. And if you want to do meat, you can stretch the meat. That's a quote. You have to stretch the meat with refried beans. Oh, that's the golden age, guys. Stretch your meat with refried beans. You're winning. It's the golden age. You can't afford beef, so you're stretching it for $8 burritos. Guys, it's so absurd. And so I've been talking about this buildup. I've been talking about this undercurrent. I've been talking about how something's about to boil over, something is about to bubble over, and now it's starting to happen. Now it's starting to happen. And this emergence of, I would say, future leadership with Joe Kent, Thomas Massie, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Tucker Carlson, and look, you know, I can do fair and balanced here. I can do neutral. I'm opinionated, but I can cover news from a neutral perspective. Whether you like this group or not, whether you like the new Carlson, Massie coalition, however you want to put it, whether you like them or not, the fact remains that this is the future of political leadership. Maybe you don't like it, maybe you'd never support it, but if they want to make a serious move and launch a third party for the 2028 presidential election, it will be a serious deal. And it will be such a serious deal that the Republican Party will panic. They will go into absolute panic, and they'll try to tell you we can't have a third party because it's going to cost Republicans elections. And, of course, they're going to be speaking to nobody because we don't care about Republicans. It's like the same thing they do to you with Israel. They say, oh, well, you know, if we don't deal with Iran, Israel will suffer. So what? What do I give a damn? You think I give a damn about Israel? I don't. Hey, if they do a third party, Republicans can't win. So what? Who do you think you're talking to? Nobody cares about these things. You're exposing yourself. You're a party hack, and you're a foreign interest traitor. These messages don't work. This bullying of right-wingers and conservatives doesn't work. And now they're going to sit here and point the finger and say, look, the Democrats platform Hassan Piker. Again, so what? So what? You can cover Hassan Piker all day long. You can talk about the worst things he's ever done, the worst things he's ever said, attack his credibility, his character. I don't care. I'm not defending Hassan Piker. I don't have to. But you know what I do see happening? I see the left wing not engaging in cancel culture. I see the left wing not engaging in gatekeeping. And I know that leads to victories. And so if the Republican Party wants to gatekeep and they want to keep people like Tucker Carlson or Thomas Massie or Nick Fuentes or Owen Schroyer or any people like this, and they want to keep you out of the Republican Party, well, then you will lose. And that's the great irony, is that you pretend you want to win and then you continue to engage in losing behavior, and then you get mad at us because you're losers. I've gone a little long with this intro, but I can't say I'm surprised because I did 2 scoops of crash out energy today, guys. I did 2 scoops. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know what got into me. 2 scoops of crash out. That's what got into me. My energy drink made by me, the official energy drink of the Owen Report. Get yours today at crashout.energy. If you're like me, I've just given up. I just accept my fate. I love caffeine. It is my it is my one, let's say, stimulant of choice is caffeine. Big fan. I like 200 milligrams is what I like. That's about the sweet spot for me. So I put 200 milligrams in there, and I said, you know, I don't want to drink these toxic energy drinks all the time. Can't do it. Not good for me. So I said, let me get an energy supplement drink here that's got 200 milligrams of caffeine, and then it has nootropics in it for mental energy and focus. And then it doesn't have the bad ingredients. It actually has the good ingredients. You know, natural flavors, stuff that's good for your heart. That's what we did with Crash Out Energy. Get yours today at crashout.energy, the official energy drink of the Owen Report.
On the cutting edge of news and analysis, the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
I'm already hot and bothered. I'm already overheating, guys. I'm already hot and bothered. I'm already overheating. Let's cool the engines here. Let's cool the engines 15 minutes into the show. I can already tell we're getting the engine's running hot early here. Wow. You know, let's just take a deep breath, guys. And let's just enjoy our latest Groundhog Day moment, if we can. Can we celebrate Groundhog Day today? Trump says the Strait of Hormuz deal could reopen sometime this week. Could reopen the strait sometime this week. Oh, yeah. By the way, Boomer is leading in the clubhouse, I have to say. And I hope our Boomer friends in the audience actually take that as a sign of respect. I do. I hope they take that as a sign of respect. Because it is. We do love our Boomers, and we get into generational politics. That's all fair. It's all good. If we do end up naming our groundhog Boomer, I hope that the Boomers look at that as a sign of respect. Okay? We love our Boomers. But it is kind of representative, isn't it? We feel like we're getting the same stuff here with the Boomers running things. So it is the leader in the clubhouse, though. But the Strait of Hormuz could open this week, guys. You know what? Honestly, I'm just thinking about this right now. I'm surprised somebody doesn't do this. So many people have gotten really creative in political media, discovering new ways to produce original content. And I don't mean like the normal content that you might think of like a video or a clip or something like that. I mean like purely original content. For example, like even the concept is original. I forget the name of the account. We've shown some of this account's work online, and they took the thousands of screenshots from Laura Loomer or Ayel Jacoby. And it's like, you know, Loomer has posted 10,000 times about Candace Owens, or Jacoby's posted 7,000 times about Tucker Carlson. And then they actually screenshot every single one of the posts and put it into, I mean, it's not a mosaic, but kind of, yeah, they could do a mosaic out of it. And then they just document that. It's like, wow, okay, that's original content. That's like a new genre of content, is like compiling all of this stuff into one image for social media. Somebody needs to do that. I wish I remembered the guy's account. It's like SMS or something like that. Somebody needs to, he should probably do this. It's kind of his content. He's kind of the king of it right now. Go find every single headline and put them all together. Every single headline where Trump has said the strait is going to reopen this week. Every single headline where Trump said he would win the war or has won the war. Every single headline where Trump said Iran has no military, and then the next day they blow up a base. So you could do like all of these different ones. Like, here's every time Trump has said the strait is open. And you'll have like 60 headlines from the last, 12 months. Here's every time Trump has said he's won the war. You'll have 60 headlines from the last 12 months. And just compile it all down and just put it in a thing. Because here we go again, guys. A deal in the Strait of Hormuz is imminent. We're going to get it done. We're going to get it done, guys. That's Strait of Hormuz. And of course, Iran knows the deal. They know that they'll get Gaddafi'd if they give over their nuclear program. So why would they do it? The whole world knows what happened to Gaddafi. Why do you think they all want nukes now? They saw the Gaddafi example cooperated, did everything they asked, turn over the nuclear program, and then they went in there, they killed him and bragged about it. The whole world knows what happened to Gaddafi, except the brainwashed, propagandized American people. That's the problem. And then we're the source of this corruption, which we're hoping to get rid of with Donald Trump, and it seems as though he's entrenched it even deeper. Let me say this quickly before we get to the news. I'm toiling over this, and I know I'm not the only one. And it was last night with Trump promoting Alan Dershowitz, maybe a little bit of the garbage that he's posting on social media today. But it was really the Alan Dershowitz thing. It took it so over the top, and I'm sure it was all pay for play. I mean, I hope Trump didn't do that for free, honestly. That's even worse. If Trump's promoting Alan Dershowitz for free, it's like, hey, at least if he's making money off of it, all right, whatever. I guess I can reason with that. If he's doing it for free, holy smokes, are we cooked? Trump promoting Epstein's lawyer for free? I'd rather it be for cash. I hope Dershowitz paid a hefty fee to get Trump to promote his new book on social media and promote him as a great patriot. And I'm looking at that, and I'm just like, how can it be this bad? Seriously. How can it be this bad? It's almost, and I've done this a couple times before. It's all just like crunching data and then figuring the outcome. It's like crunching data, putting it into a formula, and then figuring the outcome or the highest likely odds of an outcome. And it's like, what are the higher odds right now? What are the higher odds right now that Trump is this bad? I mean, like this bad, guys. I mean, totally has sold us out. I mean, like to unreal levels. And forget about the people in denial of this. Forget about the people that are still pretending MAGA is a serious movement or that Trump is delivering the golden age. Just forget about them. We can't deal with them. These people aren't serious right now. They're not even on the same level. They're like 10 levels behind us, so we can't even really, bringing them into your consideration or conversation at this point just drags it down, and so you can't do it. So I'm just like, okay, this is how bad Trump is now. What are the odds? What are the odds that Trump is this bad and that the thing has gone a complete 180 versus that Q is real? I'm not trying to be funny here, honestly. I'm just like, this is rattling around in my head. What are the higher odds that Trump is really this bad, that he's just totally sold us out, like shamelessly to a ridiculous level, covering up for the Epstein class? I mean, like, really, that's how bad this is? Or are the odds higher that Q is real? To me, that's the question. What are the higher odds right now? And here's why I'm saying that. And I'm not telling you to believe in Q. I'm just looking at numbers and saying, what the hell's going on here? At this point, it's almost like Trump wants to get arrested. Honestly. At this point, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, is Trump trying to get impeached? Does he want the Democrats to impeach him and arrest him? Is that what he wants? Guys, I'm not trying to be shock jock here. This insider trading stuff is going to be very real. Very real. And I'm telling you what, don't fall for it that the Democrats won't use this war in Iran or whatever happened in Venezuela against Trump. Don't think that these things are out of the Democrats' pocket either. If the Democrats take the Congress, guys, they're going to bring all of this up. They're going to bring up the illegal war, is what they're going to call it, an illegal war with Iran. They're going to bring up blowing up the schoolgirls. They're going to bring up all the strikes against Venezuela. They said they were fighting drugs coming in. They're going to bring up that. They're going to bring up the insider trading. I mean, there's just four things right off the top of my head. It's going to be like, boom, open and shut. He has to know this. There is no way he doesn't realize this. So the only other potential is that they're so high on their own supply. They're so high on their own propaganda. They believe their own bullcrap that they really think they're going to walk away with the midterms, or they really think that they're going to get away with this stuff. Or maybe Trump thinks if he sells out to D.C. to a certain degree, they'll leave him alone afterwards. And it's just like, this is not how it's going to go. I can't help but consider this. I can't help but consider this. And I'll bet you this. And maybe this is what this whole pardon thing was about. If Trump really believes that he can pardon himself and the Democrats will respect that because he respected the Biden pardons, you have got to be kidding me. You have got to be joking me. If there's one thing we've learned in all of this, it's that Democrats do have the will, and they will find the way. They've proven that. They've already charged Trump, arrested Trump, all of Trump's supporters, censored Trump off the internet. I mean, you name it. They'll find a way. They have the will, and they will find the way. So if Trump really thinks they're going to respect his pardons of himself and his family or some deal he signs for immunity against the IRS, if Trump really believes any of this stuff is going to hold up against the Democrats because he respected Biden's pardons, what? And you think I'm crazy? That is so delusional. It's like, again, it's so delusional, I almost can't even believe it. It's so delusional, I think that it's a higher likelihood that Q is real, is how delusional and ridiculous it is. So then the fantasies, start to take over. Oh my gosh, I go into Q land. Q is rattling around 17 times a day, thinking, oh, Trump wants to get arrested so that he'll cut a deal after they arrest him. And he'll say, I know all the insider trading. I know all the treasonous actors. I know all the foreign agents. And he had to engage in all of these high crimes in order to find and expose these people. So when he gets arrested, he cooperates and sells them all out. So I don't know. You tell me, guys, what are the bigger odds that is happening or that this administration has really gone this badly and is this bad? What are the higher odds? We're fantasizing. We're in another world today, guys. We're zooming through it. But hey, let's see, guys. You know, we had in fact, let me pull this up really quickly. I do want to get into last night's results. In the Michigan Senate primary. But before I do that, the Senate Republicans posted this today. This is their response, by the way. The Senate Republicans, you know, the ones that can't get a SAVE Act passed, it's all corrupt anyway. I don't even want any of it to pass anymore. It's all a big game. It's all a big game of corruption now. Tying corruption into good stuff. I ain't for it. I don't support it. I don't give a damn. It's all corrupt. Doesn't matter. And alliance, so really just failing to pass the SAVE Act is just that. That's really all it is. Doesn't, other than that, it really is worthless to me at this point. I mean, by the way, where are the Republicans last night on all the mail-in ballots coming in for Stevens, the Democrat? I mean, it's ridiculous. I'll get to that in a second. So the Senate Republicans say, an alliance of communists and Islamists is taking control of the Democrat Party. An alliance of communists and Islamists is taking control of the Democrat Party. Okay. And they posted that this morning, as you can see right here on this timestamp. They posted that communists and Islamists are taking control. Senate Republicans this morning. You know, that's funny. That's funny because here I am last June 17th, 2025, saying, congrats to the newcomer MAGA grifters who are celebrating another war. You won. Enjoy your celebration for what you think is a win, but prepare for the 6-year hangover. Dems will win midterms and 2028. You'll have more socialism and radical Islam in the West than ever. Congrats. Well, we're getting close to all of that being proven true, aren't we? We are getting real close to this looking like it's going to be quite a Ruth.
And that's another home run from the great Babe Ruth.
It was so obvious. this point right here, that this war with Iran was going to result in more socialists and Islamists getting involved in U.S. politics. It was so obvious. That's what's causing all of this. And that's what's so frustrating. We know the source of all of this. We know the source of why the Republican Party can never act in America's best interests. We know the source of why the left continues to get more radical. It all ties into foreign policy, and it all ties into the Israeli lobby. And you can sit here and play the same game that you love to play. It doesn't work. Everybody sees it now. And it's not even just seeing it now. It's they're punching us with it. They're punching us with it. They're kicking us with it. But, you know, let's check in on those Islamic socialists, shall we? You want to check in on them? Let's check in on them. This is a young man in New York City here. He found a pothole.
Yo, Mom Donnie, bro, we need your help, gang. We need your help. We need your help. Look. Like, gang, why is there a whole hole in the road, gang? That big ass hole. You see all these cracks, gang? And then there's another one right there. What's this? Come on, Mom Donnie. Come on, Mom Donnie. I ain't gonna lie, we need your help.
Okay, so that was in the morning, and then this happened.
Hey, I see how the world works, bro. You see how in the morning I said there was 2 potholes, right? Look what happened after I come back from work. What, nigga? Nigga, Mom Donnie, I did not know you was like that, nigga. Nigga, that quick? I said this shit like literally in the morning. That shit gone already. Nah, we love you, Mom Donnie. What the fuck?
So Trump is putting holes in the world, and Mom Donnie is filling them. How do you like that one? You see why the left is recruiting me so hard right now, guys? I'm not going there. I'm telling you, I'm not. Don't worry. I'm politically neutral. I'm doing news coverage now that you don't know if I'm on the left or the right, and I prefer it that way. So we're going to stick with that until there's a political movement that we can actually, you know, ride to save the country. You won't know what my politics are for the time being. But Trump is putting holes in the earth, and Mom Donnie is filling them. Now, look, I can already hear the responses from the Mom Donnie haters. Well, this could be planned. Well, maybe this guy knows Mom Donnie and they did this whole thing as a stunt. Okay, it might be true. But Mom Donnie still filled the potholes. And in fact, Mom Donnie ran on a promise to fill 100,000 potholes in his first 100 days. And did you know that he actually did it? Did you know that they actually did that and have already celebrated that milestone? So you can say what you want about the communists and the Islamists. I'm not telling you to like them or not like them. I don't really care. I'm here to talk about policy, and I'm here to talk about results. That's what I'm here to talk about. And I think that there's something happening now with Mom Donnie, and this has been such a swing and a miss for Republicans. In fact, they don't even swing, actually. The Republicans don't even swing. All you have to do, and really, you can almost control the fate of the country with this strategy. And I think the Democrats have figured this out. All you have to do is deliver for the major inner cities and metropolitan areas. And as long as you can do that, you can pretty much dominate the Electoral College, and you can normally dominate the Senate. House races might be a little different. But as long as you have the votes in the major metropolitan areas, the population-dense areas, you'll dominate. You'll win electoral colleges. You'll win the Electoral College in election cycles, and you will win Senate seats. And all you have to do is actually go in there and help them out. The Republicans don't even try. They don't even try. They never go there. Ever. And in fact, you know what happened when Trump tried to do this, by the way? It was such a big success in 2016. Trump goes to St. Louis, Missouri. I was there, one of the most viral political videos in the history of the internet with Age Skrillex. Created a whole genre of political content after that. Yours truly, billions of views. And then he went to Chicago. And these two events were so big that you couldn't even, folks, I can't even explain to you what it was like in St. Louis that day. the types of crowds that were at outside the Peabody Center, and they should have probably had it in the hockey arena, but they had it in a side arena, much smaller. This is like playoff hockey game crowds, streets shoulder to shoulder. That was April 2016 for Trump, when the GOP and the Republican establishment were still against him. And then he goes to Chicago, and he has an even bigger rally in downtown Chicago that they had to cancel. And the Democrats were in there running their terrorist events, and this is all on record. Give Laura Loomer credit. She went inside of the DNC in Chicago, and she recorded Aaron Black and other Democrats saying how they were going to cause violence and riots at the Trump rally so they could get it shut down. And they did. So Trump went to St. Louis. Trump went to Chicago. Huge turnouts, but the Democrats terrorized him out of Chicago. They canceled the event, and then they gave up, and they never went back. And so all Democrats have to do is just show up. That's all they have to do to win the vote in the population-dense city areas. They just have to show up. Republicans aren't even there. They don't show up. They don't try. They've given it up. And because of this, they're going to probably give up political power. So say what you want about Mamdani, say what you want about communist socialists. I'm here to look at results. And I see Mamdani delivering results for his voters. That's what I see. I don't see Trump delivering results for his. That's what I see. But hey, Trump wants to let you know he was watching the Michigan primary last night, and then he had this to say about it. Great news for the Republican Party. El Sayed, a communist loser who hates Jews and Israel, is the projected winner in his race with the socialist. As usual, the polls were way off on this one. No, President Trump, you and your advisors are just blind. If you listen to the Owen Report, you know that we had El Sayed winning the entire time. So I don't know what polls you're listening to or watching. I don't know who it is you're getting your political advice from, but obviously they keep misleading you. So we saw that El Sayed was going to win. And by the way, they tried to steal it. They did a mail-in ballot drop, and it was a 50-point advantage. So basically 2-1. They had a 2-1 ballot drop for Stevens last night at like midnight. And everybody was watching it saying, oh my gosh, they're going to steal it. Because this is what the Democrats do. This is what the Democrats did in 2020. We all witnessed it. We all remember the vote Viagra. The Democrats are behind. They count how many votes. They come up with those votes. They say they're mail-in votes, and then they win. So they tried to pull that last night with Stevens, and they failed. And, of course, you get to see the total fraud of MAGA now ignoring this story. Again, I don't care. You can like El Sayed or you cannot like El Sayed. Every single person in MAGA, if this would have happened to a Republican candidate, would have been screaming stolen election. If a Republican candidate was up by 25 points and a 99% chance to win in the markets, and then a mail-in ballot dump comes 2 for 1 with the perfect amount of votes to tie the race in the final moments, every single MAGA person would be screaming rigged election. Every single MAGA person would be screaming cheating and saying this is how they cheat with mail-in ballots. And guess what? They all ignored it last night. They all ignored it last night. So I guess they're okay with cheating as long as it works out for them. Of course, it didn't. El Sayed still won, despite the mail-in ballot attempt to steal it from him. Which is that's a pretty powerful message sent to whoever it was that tried to steal that deal. And then, of course, notice how America is not mentioned once here. He says, El Sayed hates Jews and Israel. Now, we'll put that to the test in a second. But notice how he doesn't say anything about America. So, I mean, this is it, guys. That's what I'm saying. Like, how could it be so obvious? How could Trump be so obviously a foreign loyalist at this point? He doesn't mention Christians. He doesn't mention conservatives. He doesn't mention capitalists. He doesn't even mention America. He just mentions Jews in Israel. Is Trump the president of Israel? Does Trump work for Israel? What is going on here? That's what I'm saying. Like, this is so obvious and bad. It's like Trump wants you to look at Israel. That's how ridiculous this is. But okay, Trump says El Sayed hates Jews and hates Israel. Well, this is what he said on the campaign trail. And then you can compare that with what Trump said.
AIPAC and Israel are not the same as Judaism and the Jewish people. I love Judaism and I love the Jewish people. I venerate Judaism and I venerate the Jewish people. I stand with Judaism and I stand with the Jewish people. And the single most dangerous thing that they've tried to tell us is that somehow they can extend the definition of anti-Semitism to include a foreign government and its leaders. I call bullshit. No. No. If you believe that anti-Semitism extends to include a foreign government and AIPAC, you are creating a dangerous circumstance. So it is important for us to recognize that we love Judaism and the Jewish people because we love people. And we love Palestinians and their rights because we love people. And we love that our tax dollars get spent here, on schools here, and healthcare here, because we love people. You cannot claim that human rights end at a border. You cannot claim that you want to invest in our kids when you send our money abroad to kill other people's kids. You cannot claim it.
Now, you can reach whatever conclusions you want about El Sayed, but there's what Trump said about him, and there's what he said about Jews in Israel. Very clear. Whether you trust him, believe it, I don't, make your own decisions here. But there you go. There's what Trump said. There's what he said. You can decide who's lying and who's engaging in propaganda and who's not. Now, let me point two more things out here. And this is what I'm trying to emphasize, and I think everybody's starting to catch on. And, well, not to get off track, but I'm telling you right now, guys, there's something big is happening. The phase of denial is almost complete. The phase of denying what a disaster this administration has been and what a traitor Trump has been to his base, the phase of denial is almost complete. Now, the problem is the next phase after that is shoot the messenger phase. And so we're starting to get into this shoot the messenger phase, and I'm not going to back down. Okay? I've been taking the slings and arrows and bullets from the corrupt political establishment my entire political career in media. So I'm not backing down. And you know what? In fact, I'll take the lead. I'll stand in front of you and I'll take the slings and arrows from these people because I know it's going to pass. And I know on the other side of it, we are going to be on the right side of history and we are going to win. I don't know the timetable of all of this yet, but I do know that is our future. So I'll sit here and I'll rail heads with the neocon slop. I'll sit here, I'll rail heads with the cuck-servatives. I'll sit here and I'll be the messenger standing in the fray, taking their slings and arrows, just like I have for 10 years, and I'll let them shoot me as the messenger. And then once that phase is over, the next phase begins, which is starting to phase in right now. What's happening, and this is kind of part of the third party thing that's developing right now, and I'm going to get into that later. But, we've already done the work. We already got Trump and the GOP in power. It's on them now. What they do with this power is on them. And the fact that they can't run on their success should tell you everything you need to know. The fact that the midterms aren't a lock for the Republican Party tells you everything you need to know. If the Trump administration was successful, then the midterms would be a lock. That'd be it. They'd be able to brag about the great economy and it would actually resonate with people. They'd be able to brag about how they didn't start any new wars and they were in peacetime, and people would like that. They can't do this stuff. The economy's a mess. Foreign policy is still totally corrupt. And they spiked the Epstein case. So it's like they are the ones that blew this opportunity, not us. We did the work to get them in power. They blew it. So if they can't win the midterms on success, that's on them. That's not on us. That's on them. But hey, keep attacking the messenger. Keep living in denial and then attacking the messenger. That's fine. But here's what's happening with this emergence now of the third party. We're in the process, and this is for people that are, you know, you're 5 years ahead of the rest. You're 10 levels ahead of the rest. And if you're listening to this show, you probably understand what I'm saying. We are already into the phase of building the next political movement. It's in the primordial ooze right now, but everybody's starting to feel it. Things are starting to metastasize. People starting to coalesce. But here's what's going to happen. This is going to be a nasty process. And there's going to be a very serious weeding out factor here. And this is what we're in right now. We have to rebuild what was destroyed by Trump, MAGA. We have to rebuild this. And in this rebuilding process, we have to separate the weak and compromised from the truth tellers and the patriots. And this is going to be a nasty process. It's going to be nasty. It's going to get real ugly. But that's what this is. This is the process of starting a new political movement and weeding out truth tellers, patriots versus compromised and cucks. So we're not going to deal with the compromised people anymore. We know who they are. We're not going to deal with the cuck-servatives anymore. We know who they are. And we're kind of starting to get into real fine-toothed comb details about, okay, who do we want leading this next political movement? Who do we want kind of being the faces, the voices, the people in the media getting access, pushing it? And then who do we want to make sure we know we're separated from, and we make sure the voters know we're separated from? So this is going to be a very nasty process. But, you know, by the way, Saeed has asked Rogers for 5 debates. They haven't agreed to any details yet, but Saeed wants to do 5 debates before the midterms. That's a lot of debates. That's going to be a fun one to watch. I wonder if Rogers is so interested. So AIPAC, you know, the Israel lobby spent $60 million on Democrat Stevens. And isn't it ironic, too? It's so pathetic. Honestly, you cuck-servatives, you're so pathetic. You sit here and you stand up for AIPAC. You sit here and you bash Democrats all day long, and then AIPAC goes and spends $60 million on a Democrat. Like, you guys are a joke. If you claim to be a Republican or a conservative or a right-winger and you're not calling out AIPAC funding both sides of the aisle and manipulating our foreign policy, you're a joke, you're a clown, you're a sellout, and your time in politics is very short. We're not going to tolerate you foreign loyalists. We're not going to tolerate your foreign propaganda much longer. You're done. Your time is up. We're sick of you. You're all exposed. So AIPAC spends $30 million, another $30 million from other entities from the Israeli lobby, all the different dark money. $60 million on a losing race in Michigan. AIPAC spends $60 million and they lost. The Israeli lobby spent $60 million, and then they did a 2-for-1 ballot dump at midnight, and they still lost. So AIPAC makes a statement today. Now they're going to be backing Mike Rogers. Isn't that amazing? AIPAC signaling its plan to spend for Republican Mike Rogers. Our members remain determined to ensure that voters reject Dr. El Sayed and his radical anti-Israel agenda in November. There it is again, anti-Israel. Do we live in Israel? Is this Israel? If you want to know who controls you, just know who you're not allowed to criticize. So, hey, all you conservatives. Hey, all you right-wing Republican conservatives that stand up for AIPAC, the foreign lobby, all day long. Hey, all you cuck-servatives that love to sit here and slop for AIPAC. AIPAC just tried to fund a Democrat to victory. She lost. So now they're going to fund the Republican. Are you starting to get it yet? Do you really think AIPAC gives a damn about America? Let me explain the extent to which AIPAC cares about America. America is like a blood bag for AIPAC, for Israel. That's all it is. America is just like a muscle and a blood bag. Believe me. In fact, the plan is really to sacrifice America. That's the plan. The plan is to sacrifice America for Israel and the Third Temple. I think they're going to fail. I think they're going to fail miserably. That's the plan. Your country is being chopped up and sacrificed for a 3,000-year-old fanatical religious zealotry. That's what's happening. And you know, there's kind of this true stereotype about Americans, how we only know about our own history, and, you know, history only began when America started. And I kind of like the attitude of that, but there's a real stereotype there. Americans are a little bit close-sided, short-sighted when it comes to international stuff and some historical stuff. I think that is fair. But because of that, we can't even comprehend. It's like we really do think America is the be-all, end-all. And that case can be made in modern history. But there's a 3,000-year-old history here. There's a history much bigger, much larger than the United States of America that's been happening for thousands of years. And it's all culminating. And they truly believe that the entire purpose of America rising and Trump getting into office was so it could be used as a weapon to give Israel, Greater Israel, and the Third Temple. That's what's going on. And I know it sounds outrageous for Americans hearing this. This is a 3,000-year-old holy war, guys. These people don't give a rat's ass about America. These people don't give a rat's ass about the Constitution. They don't give a rat's ass about the Bill of Rights. They don't give a rat's ass about the Declaration of Independence. They care about their 3,000-year-old holy war, building the Third Temple, and bringing in their Messiah. That's what this whole thing is about. And I know it's so hard to comprehend because we Americans are very selfish. We're very caught up in our own American ego. We're very caught up in the fact that we've been the global power for our entire lives. But this is a tiny little sliver of time. And America and its recent rise to power is still a small brick in the overall story of civilization. So yes, you better wake up and realize America is being sacrificed by design. Why do you think they spend so much money making sure that in these final moments, all of America is being thrust into supporting Israel? Wake up, guys. It's all happening right in front of your eyes. It's never been more obvious. I'll tell you what, we're going to come back here, and I want to look at a story because the White House thinks you're stupid. Pete Hegseth thinks you're stupid. And now they're denying these reports. They're denying these reports that there's no shortage of weapons for the military. Well, that's an odd thing for Hegseth to argue and say, and maybe he needs to be held in contempt of Congress then, because remember just 2 weeks ago, Pete Hegseth was arguing that they were out of weapons. So which one is it, Pete? We'll examine that on the other side of this break.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
political light years ahead of the rest. It's the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
All right, we got some breaking news here. I'm being told that Nikita Bear is stepping down as head of project management at X. This is incoming on my phone. I haven't had a second to look at this here, so I won't get too much into it until I can. But I would say, it's got to be good news, right? I guess the only way it would be bad news is if they replaced him with somebody worse. I don't know who would be worse. I'm sure there's plenty of options, but it's like, boy, that was a bad run, huh? That was a bad run. But he resigned, is what I'm told. He resigned. And so I'm curious. I don't know if I buy that. That might have been a, hey, would you like to resign? Because if you don't, So who could be worse? Loomer, I guess, would be probably the worst option there, or like Levin or Shapiro. That'd be the direction. If it continues going the direction it has, that'd be who comes in next. You know what? I'd like to see Mario Nafal. How about that? How about Mario Nafal as the next head of product management? I'd volunteer for the job. Actually, isn't their headquarters in Austin now? I guess I could go work there. You think we could do it all? Could we do it all? Oh God, no. They'll bring in Barry Weiss. They'll give it to David Ellison. Yeah. We'll find out. I don't want to spend too much time on that, but breaking news. When I get more details, I'll let you know. All right, so there was some breaking news. The first time I saw this in like a packaged, sourced report was Jennifer Griffin, Fox News. I believe that was Saturday or Sunday, where it went from kind of like a discussion, a debate, a consideration, a concern. Is the United States out of weapons supplies? Or I don't want to get into semantics, but, is the U.S. stockpile depleted? Is the U.S. stockpile running low? Is it close to zero? Is it on E? Is there a warning here? So it was kind of just talk. It was kind of just talk and rumor until this weekend, and this is my perspective, until this weekend with Fox News and Jennifer Griffin doing a packaged, well-produced, sourced report about how the U.S. military is depleted, specifically when it comes to missiles and weapons. And this is because of the war in Ukraine, and this is because of the war in Iran. And then Reuters kind of took it to the next level with that Erin Barton, I think was her name, Erin Barton. And then that Reuters article went major viral Monday, and then it went national. It went national yesterday. Okay. So I think let's say Fox News kind of kicks the door open about the military being depleted for weapons. Reuters walks into the door and screams it through a megaphone, and then the rest of the national press picks it up and runs with it yesterday. So now they're in damage control. And now they're saying, oh, no. There's no depletion of weapons. No. We are fine. We are just fine. Now, to be clear, I don't know who really knows. Who really knows? I mean, Hegseth, I'm sure, knows. Trump probably knows. But do we really know? I mean, they could be making this thing up about being depleted just to throw Iran off. So let's not pretend like, there might be some gamesmanship with these stories. So maybe they're out of weapons, maybe they aren't. But here's what I do know. I do know that 2 weeks ago, Pete Hegseth had to testify under oath in front of a Congress committee, and he said that they needed $67 billion to restock arms. And if you recall, if you go back and you listen to that hearing, Hegseth came off as very desperate. Hegseth came off as very serious, almost to a desperate degree of like, hey, if you don't give us this money, we're cooked. If you don't give us $67 billion, we're done. We're done for. We got nothing. That was the angle. So was Pete Hegseth lying then, or is he lying now? Which one is it, Pete? Pete Hegseth testified under Congress that we were depleted and he needed $67 billion to restock our depleted arsenal. That's what Hegseth said 2 weeks ago. In a very serious, emotional, desperate plea to Congress for $67 billion. Well, now it just hits the news from a different angle that we are depleted because of these wars. And then Hegseth comes out and says, no, we're fine. We have plenty of missiles. So which one is it, Pete? Did you lie then under oath, or are you lying now? Which one is it? And, you know, it's almost kind of a good thing that these people are so bad at lying, because they're probably not liars. You know, I don't think Pete Hegseth is a liar. I don't think that's really who Pete Hegseth is. But now he works for Donald Trump. And now to work for Donald Trump, you have to be a liar. If you want to work for Donald Trump, you have to lie. And some in there tell Trump, I'm not going to lie for you. Including, but maybe not limited to, Judge Jeanine Pirro. That's just the case. So which one is it, Pete? You told Congress you were out of weapons and you needed $67 billion. And then the media just took that and kind of spun it into a different headline. And now you're denying that. So did you lie under oath, or are you lying now, Pete? And I understand you have to lie because you work for Donald Trump. But I'm just wondering which one was the lie. It'd be nice to know. And maybe Congress would like to know too. Maybe. There's something here. I don't know how bad it is. Pentagon seeks fourth budget reconciliation package on military funds. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, senior Pentagon officials, briefed Republican senators behind closed doors Tuesday. So they're trying to get this whole thing under wraps, guys. Officials also discussed U.S. weapons stockpiles during the Iran conflict, offering what one source called candor and a level of detail that the committees have been seeking. So they're not going to tell us any of this. So Hegseth to Congress says, we're desperate, we need weapons, we're out. And then Hegseth to the media says, we are not out of weapons, we have plenty of weapons. And then in a secret meeting, they get the truth, but not you. Hey, by the way, I was surprised that I bet you didn't hear about this one. Armed man arrested at Trump Golf Club, wore earpiece and photographed Secret Service agents, feds say. And apparently this guy was tracing the golf course for some days now. A man arrested in advance of President Trump's trip to Trump National Golf Club had visited the facility twice in 3 days, wore a radio earpiece, and took photographs of Secret Service agents at the Palos Verdes Peninsula facility. After arresting him Sunday, authorities said they discovered a small cache of firearms at his home, along with a security ID. This one got like nothing. I'm shocked at the lack of coverage here. Hours before President Trump was scheduled to headline a Tuesday evening fundraiser at his Rancho Palos Verdes golf course, authorities announced that they had arrested Janine John Teal, 38, of Downey, after he was found at the club with ammunition in his pocket and a loaded firearm in his pickup truck. He was charged by both federal and local authorities, but not in connection with the president. According to the federal affidavit, Teal had visited the club twice ahead of Trump's visit on Friday and on Sunday. Did you guys hear about this one? This one kind of just didn't get much coverage, huh? I'm a little shocked by that. They had another security issue. This one was probably just a case of incompetence or miscommunication. FAA investigating after passenger plane taking off got too close to Trump's Marine One helicopter. Well, I'm not going to get into all the different ins and outs of these rules, but basically they ground all air traffic whenever President Trump is about to get into the air, or any president. And for whatever reason, the takeoff was allowed to happen. All right, so that's probably just a case of incompetence there. Now, Trump is flying around this most recent trip. Trump is flying around on Air Force One, the one from Qatar. Trump lands in Las Vegas on new Air Force One before Red Rock event. I really like that plane. I think Trump does too. I think Trump gets pissed off when his security tells him not to take it. Well, there's a debate on what they're going to do here, and actually there's some confusion. Trump will display an old Air Force One at his library, his son says, leaving Qatari jet's fate unclear. President Donald Trump said he would display the aircraft gifted to him by Qatar in Miami after leaving the White House. But Eric Trump told NBC's News there's a different plan. Good luck trying to figure out what this is all about. And this is a NBC News exclusive that they have behind a paywall. So I ain't paying for the slop here. So there seems to be some miscommunication. Now, I don't know when Boeing is going to finish their new Air Force One. This thing with Boeing is like, what the hell is going on over there? Check for a pulse on that deal. So Trump was forced to start using the Qatari jet, and he obviously prefers it. I'm sure that this Qatari Air Force One is, 100 times better than the Air Force One he's been riding around on. And until Boeing can finish the job that they've done, I'm sure Trump prefers the, let's say, the niceties of the new Air Force One as opposed to the old one. So I'm not really sure what this is saying. It'll be pretty funny, though, I think, if Trump ends up using one of the Air Force Ones for his presidential library in Miami. That would be right up. That's totally on brand for Trump. That's totally on brand for egomaniacal Trump. Oh, this jet's mine now. And nobody gets to fly it either. We're going to this jet's mine now. It's the nicest, probably the nicest plane in the world. And Trump's just going to put it outside of his library. That's great. Did you guys know they were building a helipad, by the way? Did you know that the White House was building a helipad? Well, there's a problem. Trump orders changes to new helipad after weeks of around-the-clock work. Contractors have removed the granite seal that had begun to take shape in recent days after the president complained about the slope of the White House lawn. Huh? So it looks like they were about to be done with the job. You can see here, it looks like they're about to be finished. They just probably had to polish off this granite, seal everything, and then relay the sod here. So they ripped up the whole thing. They basically just ripped up the whole thing that they had built. I mean, guys, this is nuts. Trump is just out of his damn mind, guys. And this is going the same way of the reflecting pool. Trump is already redoing his $5 million White House helipad after complaining it was slanted. The president reportedly told contractors to redo the project on the uneven south lawn. You're telling me that these guys were too incompetent to even make sure it was flat? I have a problem believing that. But this is, I guess, the claim the president is making here. So what's this one going to cost us now? You know what? Whatever. You want to build a helipad. I'm not going to raise a big fuss about that. In fact, you know what I've always thought about the whole walk to Marine One. It's kind of a legendary traditional walk, but like the whole process with the media, it's all a mess. I hope that this would improve it. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and fight against building a helipad at the White House. Maybe it's needed, maybe it's useful. But look at this. It's another botch job, and it's another money drain. Becoming the story here. So how are you guys enjoying your AI surveillance state? You guys enjoying it just well? Is it fun? Many people are rejecting it. In fact, all 8 of Winona, Wisconsin's flock cameras stolen as cities across the state continue to see theft and vandalism. That's ironic, isn't it? You can't even stop this. That's how great your security is, huh? Winona police are investigating after all 8 of the city's flock cameras were cut down and stolen. Oh, what a shame. This is, in a way, our Boston Tea Party, guys. This is probably the closest thing we've had to a Boston Tea Party in modern American history, is the total rejection of these flock cameras. And it's mostly symbolic of us rejecting the AI surveillance state. And flock cameras are just the moment. That's just the issue of the moment. Like, you know, the Boston Tea Party, same thing. So it is kind of our Boston Tea Party. Let's just start piling through this stuff here. I'm seeing a lot of this. I will admit it is shocking. This is Dearborn, Michigan. There's a lot of these videos coming out of Dearborn, and there's a lot of other independent journalists that just go up there to capture it now. And I guess you can just go up there any day of the week, and you're going to see this stuff. But, you know, it looks like you're in the middle of, you know, a Muslim country. I mean, I don't know how else you want to explain this. It's just Muslims waving Muslim flags and Muslim prayer rituals and, you know, Muslim garb. So Dearborn is now Muslim. Dearborn is now run by Muslims. And I keep seeing right-wingers complain about this. And I'm just curious, when are you going to do something about it? It's the same old story with these people. It's the same old story with right-wingers and with Republicans. You guys sit here and you complain about this Muslim invasion. Well, what are you doing about it? You're not doing anything about it. Why don't you tell Trump to deport them? I'm just curious. The Republicans are in power. They have a mandate for mass deportations. So why aren't they doing it? And this is why it gets so frustrating now. And I said it at the beginning of the show, but I'll stand in front. I don't care. I'll take the slings and arrows from all of these people. Eventually, they're going to figure out attacking us does nothing for them. Eventually, they're going to figure out if you want results, you have to go after the administration. If you want to get results, you have to go after the people in power. You guys can sit here and bitch and moan and complain and attack me all day long. It's not going to change anything. Maybe you can convince Trump to do some of these things that you want. Maybe you can convince Republicans to do some of the things that you want. They're not doing them, so instead you attack me because I'm complaining that they're not doing them. So go ahead and so do it. So all of these Republicans complaining about the Islamic invasion, and by the way, they just had a big event in Texas, probably the most people that have ever showed up at a city council, complaining about all these mosques, complaining about all the Muslims coming in. So that's happening at a local level. I doubt the local city council will do anything about it. But it's just like, I just don't get it. You guys sit here and you complain about all the stuff. Then you get mad at me because I complain about the same stuff, but I direct it at the people in power. It's like, what are you guys doing, man? You guys are so lost. I get it. Your phase of denial is coming to an end. So now you're getting into the shoot the messenger phase. Unfortunately, you guys are moving too slow. You're moving too slow, and by the time you figured out where you need to address your complaints, by the time you figured out where you need to file your grievances here, it's going to be too late. And the left, communist, Muslims, they'll all have taken over. And then you'll be sounding like me 2 years too late. And then you'll be sounding like me 5 years too late. And we'll just have to sit here and look at the record and say, oh yeah, you mean exactly like we told you? Mm-hmm. Here's one. Here's a prediction for you. I will bet you the Republican Party will end up granting more illegal aliens amnesty than deporting them. Put that one on the books. Let that one grind your gears. You already have Republicans in Congress that are proposing legislation to give amnesty to millions of illegal aliens. They're doubling down. They're tripling down. Senator John Curtis proposes amnesty for illegal immigrants to provide enough workers in Utah. Oh. Get ready, guys. I'm telling you right now. They might even do it under Trump. They might do it under Trump. The Republicans will grant amnesty to more illegal aliens than they will deport. Just watch. Just watch. They're going to do it, guys. They're going to do it. You're not getting mass deportations. You're going to get amnesty. And you can keep bitching at Owen Schroyer and making fun of my cosmetic decisions as much as you want, or, you know, thinking I'm broadcasting in the garage. You know, all the normal stuff you guys do. Hey, it's fun for me. It's not going to change anything. You're going to get more amnesty than you will deportations. MAGA, winning, golden age, yeah. All right. This might be the clip of the year. I don't think it's too early to say that. I don't think the "what have you done for me recently" phenomenon is causing me to believe this. I think this is the clip of the year so far. And I made the prediction that John Fetterman would be eventually switching to Republican. And I told you it's because of Israel. And I said, I don't remember when we first started covering this, and I said it used to be Democrats switched to Republicans because Republicans were pro-Israel. Now Democrats are switching to Republicans because Republicans are pro-Israel. Or I'm sorry, Democrats used to switch to Republicans because Republicans were pro-America. Now Democrats are switching to Republican because Republicans are pro-Israel. Well, it's not just me telling you this now. Now it's John Fetterman telling this to Jon Stewart. Guys, this is unbelievable. You know, normally I don't do long-form clips here. This whole thing is so unbelievable. Everybody needs to hear this. And in fact, this is so unbelievable that even Jon Stewart is shocked. Even Jon Stewart listening to Fetterman, and I don't know. I don't know too much about Jon Stewart's affinity to foreign policy or Israel. I know he's Jewish, but I've never really seen him express in so much of a way some interest in putting Israel over America. I've never seen that. I've always just interpreted Jon Stewart as kind of being a, you know, leftist liberal, progressive liberal, but I don't really hear him weigh too much into foreign policy. In fact, the only time I can ever recall Stewart weighing into foreign policy was mostly just making fun of it. Whether it's Democrats or Republicans, Jon Stewart usually just makes fun of foreign policy. So I don't think Stewart comes into this with any, I don't think he's too much pro-Israel or anti-Israel. I think he's just kind of, he doesn't like the foreign policy for maybe normal liberal reasons, kind of classical liberal reasons. But I think he comes into this fair. I think he comes into this neutral. And when he hears what John Fetterman says, he's stunned. And so should everybody. Everybody should be shocked at what John Fetterman says in this interview. And what's more incredible, John Fetterman has had many TV moments where right-wingers and Republicans and MAGA will seize and they'll say, look at this Fetterman, he said this. Look at this Fetterman, he said that. This is probably the worst thing Fetterman has ever said. This is a member of Congress pledging loyalty to a foreign country over America. And Republicans are silent. They won't say anything about it. And you know why? Because they have the same loyalty. Tell me why Republicans are silent on John Fetterman pledging loyalty to a foreign country over America. Tell me why Republicans are silent on that. Because Republicans have the same loyalty. Even Jon Stewart was shocked by this, folks. This is incredible.
So for you could agree with them 90%, but Israel is the red line.
Absolutely. Israel for me. Like I can't ever turn my back to Israel after where it's at.
So, and I mean no disrespect on this, but that is not our country. You're saying that these candidates may have great ideas for our economy. They may want to do the exact same thing you want to do in terms of getting money out of politics. They may want to increase the social safety net. They may want to change the balance of power from capital back to labor. But if they don't agree with you on Israel, you don't want them in your party.
Well, I don't know who you're referencing to specifically.
No, I'm referencing what you just said.
Name
So in other words, Syed or AOC or Bernie Sanders, I assume you agree with a lot of what they say economically.
And what I'm saying is, like, if you are a DSA member, if you are a member of a specific political party, run under your own banner. And now I think Bill Maher said something very insightful. He said, you know, the DSA are colonizing the Democratic Party. So just be Democrats if you're going to run under the Democratic Party for that. Why have a DSA party for overall? So run on that, and you all understand.
It's just an organization. It's not, we have a two-party system. We don't, it's like the Freedom Caucus in the Republican Party. There are, you know, there's Randy Fine and Ogles and all these nutbags that are also part of an area, and Republicans, I'm sure, may not agree with all of them on all kinds of things, but there is no other party. I guess you could try it, but my point is, if you don't disagree with them on a lot of things, why not use some of that energy? And even like Mamdani in New York is DSA, but there are things in the DSA platform that he disagrees with. And I'm assuming there's probably things in the Democratic platform that you might disagree with, but you don't disavow the entire thing. You're literally saying it's all, we can all have discussions, except when it comes to Israel, which is not America. It seems like a weird line to draw.
Well, so then, now, I don't think that's weird. I think what history demonstrates is that when people or a government or people turn their back to the Jewish community, things end really badly, and it's a dangerous.
Jewish community and Israel are not the same thing, brother man. They're not. That is not the same thing.
No. It's like, hey, it's like if I have to pick a side for after 10/7 and after Iran. You know, I'm always going to stand with Israel. I'm always going to vote and support whatever that's necessary to protect themselves and to prosecute Hamas, Hezbollah, and Iran too. And the very left never said a peep after Iran executed 30 to 40,000 young people in there just for protesting for democracy.
You think that the left is pro Iran, not the country, but the regime?
What I'm saying though is, like, if anyone in the Democratic Party is fine with Iran building a nuclear bomb, I disagree with that person.
I think most people are. Again, I think you're caricaturing the issue. But I want to. Is there anything you would criticize Israel about?
I mean, guys. First of all, Fetterman still can't talk. But I guess we're just going to let that one slide. It's just outrageous, you know? It's outrageous. And I know that this whole issue is about to come to an end. The only problem is it's going to be nasty, and I'll get back to this at the end of the show in a different stack of news I have. But it's really amazing here. Anybody still pretending like Israel doesn't have more influence over American politics in Washington, D.C. than you do, the American people, like, just drop the act. Stop pretending. It's more obvious than it's ever been. It's so over the top now. It's not even subtle. They're not even giving you any oxygen. Israel just gets the entire oxygen tank. It used to be maybe they'd give you, maybe they'd give you the mouthpiece for some oxygen every once in a while so you wouldn't drown. You don't even get the oxygen tank anymore. It's all theirs now. They get all the oil. They get all the military. They get all the funding. They own Congress. They get all the media. I mean, it's ridiculous. And then you have Fetterman going on a TV show saying, yeah, I'm loyal to Israel more than America. And if America won't be loyal to Israel, then it will fall. What happened to independence? What is going on here? You know, there's so much more on this, by the way. In fact, I want to try to find all of these interviews. I brought one of them in, but there's like a bunch of them now, and these are. Yeah, let me try to find these. These are basically Democrats or moderates even. I don't even know really if they're Democrats or not. I'm trying to make a last-minute decision to pull all these clips in, but I already didn't put them in the stack, so I just got to deal with it. I'll just play one. These clips are all over the media. Okay? And by the way, you can do the same thing on the right wing. Fox News just won't air them. That's the difference. Fox News will not air what the average American thinks about foreign policy right now because Fox News is pro-Israel. Fox News is as pro-Israel as it gets. And that's part of the design, by the way. That's part of the design to keep right-wingers and conservatives on the pro-Israel platform. So Fox could easily be interviewing a bunch of right-wingers complaining about the foreign policy and complaining about Israel. They just won't do it. So CNN is doing it. MSNBC is doing it. Here's one of many examples. I just didn't put these in the stack because I knew it was going to be a busy show. But this is the kind of stuff Democrats are saying.
This is what the voter had to say when she learned that Haley Stevens, rather relative to Abdul Sayed, supports U.S. support for Israel. Take a listen.
I just wouldn't want a single of our family's tax-paying dollars to go towards something like that. It's like giving money to violence.
So would you support a Senate candidate, in this case Haley Stevens, who's more of a moderate, like you tend to like, but would that be enough?
That would definitely turn me off as a 100%. I couldn't. I would vote for a communist first.
The one issue that seemed to be the most.
Now, you need to understand this mindset. And you can agree or you can disagree, but this is the mindset. This is the realization. It's happening on the left. It's happening on the right. And it's all about priorities. And that's why you have all of these agents, foreign agents, propagandists in the media trying to deter you from making a reasonable conclusion about priorities. This is why they want you to constantly be, talking about Iran or the Middle East or Muslims or Islam or communists, everything else except the people that run your country. Everything else except the people that are using your country to advance their means. Everything else except your slave masters. The slave masters want you to look at everything else except them. Well, the game's not really working anymore. So this is kind of the analogy that people are realizing when it comes to the Israeli lobby. You know what? We got a problem with communists over here. We got other problems over here. We got invasions over here. We got Islamification over here. It's like, okay, we got all of these issues, right? We got all of these issues. And let's just say for this analogy that all of these different issues are like splinters in our hands, in our feet. All right? We got all these splinters, communist, Islamification, whatever, all of these splinters. Well, here's what we've realized. We have a gigantic damn parasite on our jugular vein, sucking us dry. And that is the foreign lobby. And so, yeah, you know what? I want to get this splinter out of my finger. Yeah, you know what? I want to get this splinter out of my toe. Yeah, you know what? I want to deal with this hangnail over here. Yeah, I got all of these issues that I want to deal with. These are bothering me. It's making me very uncomfortable. And it's throwing off my body's functions. I need to address all of these issues. But first, I have to get this giant sucking parasite off of my neck. So yeah, I'm sorry. I'll deal with the communists later. I'll deal with the Islam later. We'll deal with all of these other splinters in our body politic later. We need to get the damn parasite off of our jugular vein first. If we don't address the parasite sucking us dry, nothing else matters. There's no body left. It won't matter about fighting communists. It won't matter about deportations. Nothing else will matter unless you get the parasite off of your neck. So this is the priority. So this is what's so shocking to the DC establishment now. They're like, oh, you'd vote for a communist over the Israel lobby? Yeah. I might be able to survive communism if foreigners and foreign interests that only have loyalty to a foreign country are running my country. I have nothing. I have nothing. It's over. I don't have a country. I don't have independence. I'm a slave. So yeah, we are going to prioritize getting the parasite of the foreign lobby off of our neck so that we can survive, and then we can deal with the communists, and then we can deal with the Islamification, and then we can deal with all the other issues. This is the big realization. It's the realization on the right. It's the realization on the left. The only people trying to keep you from this realization are the people that run our media, the people that run our government, who also just happen to be foreign loyalists. And everybody can see it now. And that's what that John Fetterman interview represents. And that's what this whole attacking El Sayed represents. And you notice it's not working. It's not working because everybody's figured it out. They want to distract us over all these different issues. We got all these different problems. And it doesn't mean that they're not real. It doesn't mean that we don't want to address the problems that we have with violence in the inner cities. It doesn't mean we don't want to address the problems we have with the invasion, the Islamification, the Indianification of our country. We don't want to deal with the communists. It doesn't mean we don't want to deal with these things. It doesn't mean we're avoiding these things. It doesn't mean we don't think these things are issues. We've just realized the biggest issue is the damn parasite on our neck. And if we don't get this parasite off our neck, nothing else matters. It's over. We don't have a country. And this will be eventually, every single right-winger will be forced to accept that this is the reality. Every single one. And many of them are still clinging to this MAGA hope, faith deal in Trump. They're still clinging to it. Many of them might even still believe the propaganda that, oh my gosh, without Israel, we'd be nothing. Maybe they still believe that stuff. Most people in politics are followers. Most people in politics are cowards and frauds, and they will change direction with the wind. Well, we're in charge of the wind now. We control the currents now. And they all see where the wind is blowing. Trust me, guys. Trust me. All this backlash, all this struggle session we have in right-wing politics dealing with the Israeli lobby, it's all done. All of these people are like artifacts. All of these people are zombies walking. They just haven't realized they're dead yet. It's not going to be long before all these right-wingers that are standing up for the Israeli lobby, standing up for Israel, eventually they're all going to leave the cause, guys, because it's going to be so unpopular, and most of them are just followers. They still kind of fall for the DC propaganda. They still kind of fall for the mainstream propaganda. They still kind of fall for the Trump propaganda. So they're kind of clinging to hope. Maybe they believe it a little bit. You guys, it's over for you. And it's an amazing phenomenon to sit here and listen to them complain now about all the things that aren't happening while Republicans are in full control over Washington, D.C., and they complain about all the things that aren't happening. And we say, hey, do you want to know why they're not happening? Here's why. And then they just deny it. Here would be one more analogy. It's like, we've got a beating heart. Okay? Our heart beats so that blood can get to all of our body. It can get to our fingers. It can get to our toes. Well, let's say all of a sudden the blood flow stops. And now all of a sudden your fingers are numb and your toes are numb. And you're saying, well, this is strange. Why am I not getting the blood flow here? Well, it turns out somebody has hacked into your heart and is stealing your blood. It turns out somebody has siphoned the blood out of your heart, and now you're losing blood. Well, we figured out who is doing this. It's the foreign lobby. And so eventually everybody's going to realize, why are the phalanges going numb? Why aren't the phalanges getting any blood support here? Because the foreign lobby is jacked into your heart and siphoning off your blood. That's what's going on. So consider this a message from the future, I guess, if you haven't figured this out yet. Since most of these people now in DC politics that are not willing to talk about this or want to ignore this are 2 to 5 years behind us, consider this a message from the future. But you know what? Most people have already realized this, guys. Most people have already realized this. And there is a fear factor in Washington, D.C. Specifically, this is on the right, not as much on the left anymore. In politics, the left is still scared to death of the foreign lobby, but that's a different story. Most people in D.C. that are patriots, even on the right, even, Trump staffers, people that work in the White House, folks, they've all realized this. Let me give you the big news here. They all know what I'm saying is true. Okay? They all know it. But it's very unsafe right now. This is the most unsafe topic that you can cover right now for obvious reasons. For obvious reasons. And maybe not so obvious reasons. There is a fear factor amongst conservatives and patriots in DC to not talk about this because it will destroy your career. And if you talk about this in DC, you're fired. And you might even get a call from DHS, from FBI, asking about your hate speech. There might even be an investigation opened into you for not supporting Israel. That's how serious this is right now. This is what's going on in D.C. Okay? I'm not making this up, by the way, if you haven't figured this out. I don't make this stuff up. I'm telling you this. Everybody knows everything I just laid out for you here is true. But they can't report this out of D.C. They can't report this out of the Trump administration, even though they know it better than anyone. So I have to do it. Others have to do it. Now let's move on to this economic news. By the way, a new financial survey comes out here from CNBC. Pretty shocking numbers here, but we already kind of knew this. The signs you're living paycheck to paycheck and the tools that can help. And so basically this gets into how people are living paycheck to paycheck. They say 64% of people making $100,000 are living paycheck to paycheck. Now, 20 years ago, if you were making $100,000, you were doing well. You're not going to be rich, but you were doing well. Now you make $100,000, you're living paycheck to paycheck. In fact, a Goldman Sachs survey revealed that 41% of people earning between $300,000 and $500,000 are living paycheck to paycheck. Now, this sounds crazy, but it's actually not so crazy when you break down the numbers. And you guys, you're listening to this. You guys, you probably know about this. You might be dealing with this yourself. The reason why this is happening is mostly because of property taxes going up and because of the cost of living going up. And I remember getting a hard time, and I don't want to get into the whole thing. I'm just using myself as an example, but when the whole drama with me leaving InfoWars and all of that stuff came out, and then they wanted to publish my salary, which wasn't even honest. I mean, I could show you the real numbers, but I'm not even complaining. I never complained about my salary. That was another big lie about that whole thing. I never complained about money, ever. Not even once. You can't find any evidence of that. What I said was that living in Austin is so expensive now that I'm living paycheck to paycheck. That's what I said. And the reason why this happens is, I mean, I can just use myself as an example. I know many other people are going through this. When you made a decision, let's say about housing in the first Trump administration, when you made that decision, the budget that you had, let's say a monthly budget, was totally different. In other words, you're spending double on energy now. You're spending double on groceries now. And you're not making more money relatively to the price. So your budget from 2018, 2019, 2020, when you decided to buy this house and get the monthly mortgage payment, it was affordable, and maybe you weren't living paycheck to paycheck. Now you're paying double. The cost of living is like double now. And so now you have to live paycheck to paycheck because your other costs have gone up so much. So that's all it is. So yeah, people will have a nicer house. They'll have a nicer car, but they're all living paycheck to paycheck now because of the cost of living crunching into their budget. So there's just no ability to save. There's no ability to diversify, get into the asset column. It's all the money you make is already claimed. You get your paycheck, 80, 90% of that money is already claimed for bills. Insurance is up. All insurance is up. Health insurance is up. Car insurance is up. Home insurance is up. Everything is up. So that's this phenomenon happening right now. The cost of living is so high that, yeah, you might make $500,000 a year, but when you made that decision to have your budget there with your mortgage payments, now everything is double, and so you don't have any money left over. And that's the reality for the vast majority of Americans now. And all the surveys realize this. Okay, so where does this take us? This takes us into the new challenge. This takes us into the new challenge that right-wingers have that are still trying to prop up the big lies of the golden age to convince you that you're rich, to convince you that you're doing better than ever and that you can afford groceries and everything else because they know better than you. Don't you know they know better than you? And it's amazing, all of these people. If you put it into a Venn diagram, what would they all have in common? Anyway, so this is how it all started. It all started with Joel Berry from the Babylon Bee, who works with Jeremy Boring, saying that this is where this new recent viral debate started. Joel Berry says, last night, my wife made homemade burritos for our family of 8. Congratulations, Joel. And it costs less than $20 total for everyone. Joel says he's feeding a family of 8 for $20. I'm beginning to think the affordability crisis is really an I don't know how to cook crisis. Now, think about how outrageous this is. Again, I can't help it. You guys know I love psychology, and I don't try to overwhelm the show with psychology, but I can't help it sometimes. I'm a sucker for human psychology, and the psychology of this to me is mind-boggling. Joel, did you really think that people would believe this? Like, where is the disconnect here? I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm genuinely trying to figure out the psychology here, where the disconnect is. You know that people go grocery shopping, right? Like, you know, people go grocery shopping and they see the price tag and then they see the receipt and they pay a bill. Like, you know, they got to pay for groceries, right? Like, you know, most Americans know that $20 to feed a family of 8 burritos is like an absurd claim, like a ridiculous claim. I mean, like what country do you live in type of a claim is how outrageous it is. And this is in response, him and Andrew Colvett, the host of the Charlie Kirk Show now, talking about, you know, the TPUSA youth and students are talking about the affordability crisis. And these people are saying, oh, no, there's no affordability crisis. So they're totally running cover for the Trump administration. And here's what it really is. If you want to cut through all the BS, the Israel lobby and the Israel loyalists know they are tanking the U.S. economy for foreign interests. So this is part of their distraction mechanism. This is part of their brainwashing MK Ultra mind control. Oh, no, no, no. You can eat a burrito for $5. There's no affordability crisis, Americans. Support more war in the Middle East. You need to support Israel. You're not broke. You can afford anything you want. I just went to the grocery store and fed my family of 8 for $20. Yes. Yes. These are not the droids you're looking for. Yes. Yes. It's like, you know, people go and buy groceries and they know this is completely ridiculous. So Colvett and Barry and the rest of these people are running propaganda to tell you that there is no affordability crisis because everybody is going to sit here and look at the Trump administration selling the country out to Israel and start to blame the foreign lobby. Whether you agree with the conclusion they reach or not, that's what's happening. So they're all running cover for foreign interests right now. Let's cut through the BS and let's say what it is. They're all running cover for foreign interests. But let's get back to the details here. So obviously this is absurd. Well, now Joel Berry, here it is, guys. Look at this. So obviously he gets called out for being an absurd, I mean, I don't even know what to call it. It's like, it's not even propaganda. It's like cartoon land. It's like Looney Tunes land. It's like, you know, Michael Jordan dunking from half court in Space Jam. It's like, this is Looney Tunes land. It's not even propaganda. So then he gets called out. So then he says this. He says, my wife gets grass-fed from Aldi and Costco, so that's going to be even more expensive. Stretch the meat with refried beans. Stretch the meat with refried beans. Does that sound like the golden age? You guys are doing so well, I need you to stretch your beef with refried beans. So this is basically admitting, yeah, I BS'd you, and you're poor. You're all broke. You're all poor. The economy sucks. And so you have to stretch, you can't afford beef, so you have to stretch your meat with refried beans. Oh, I'm sure Joel Berry is stretching a lot of meat. I'm sure they're all stretching a lot of meat. So you have to stretch your meat with refried beans. And this is the golden age? This is your evidence that there's no affordability crisis? This is what you're telling right-wing conservatives that were promised a booming economy? That, hey, just stretch your beef with refried beans. And at the same time as you're saying this, you're trying to convince people that the economy is good? And then here's a Trump advisor, former Bush speechwriter, Mark Thiessen. Cry me a river. The burritos in the college cafeteria are included in your meal plan. So now they're attacking young Americans who are looking at an affordability crisis, who have no hope for the future, and they're just saying it's your fault. The same people that sold our country out, the same people that put us $40 trillion in debt, the same people that wasted our blood and treasure for foreign interests in the Middle East are now looking down at us saying it's your fault you can't afford food. Let me say something loud and clear to all of you. Fuck you. Fuck you. You dirty, rotten bastards. You sold this country out. You destroyed our economy. And now you're going to look down at the youth of America that hasn't even had a shot yet. Now you're going to look down at younger generations of America that haven't even had a chance to come of age yet. And you're going to look down at them and you're going to point the finger and you're going to say it's your fault. Fuck you. You guys destroyed our economy. You guys destroyed our politics. You guys sold us out. You're not going to blame this on us. And the more you try to lie and the more you try to say it's your fault you can't afford dinner, the more you try to say, oh, it's all good, $20, I can feed a family of 8. The worse you look, the more pathetic you look, the more sold out you look. Just have a farm. Oh, just start a farm, guys. Here's another guy that just loves spreading foreign propaganda. Just get some chickens. You know, most people have an HOA or city ordinances. They can't even have chickens. Like, do you guys even know? Oh, just have a farm. Just have chickens. Oh, okay. Well, let's see. I can't have chickens. We got HOAs. I can't have chickens. We got city ordinances here. So I'll just move, right? So I'll just move is what I'll do. Oh, yeah, I can't move because nobody can afford it. Oh, that's right. I can't move because I can't take on a 7% interest rate. Oh, that's right. I can't move because even though I have an 810 credit score, nobody's going to give you a loan right now. Oh, just move. Just go have a farm. Just fuck you people. Why don't you just give up the foreign interest? Why don't you just give up the foreign lobby? Why don't you just quit selling us out? Fuck you. I'm so sick of these people, man. Well, you just need to have chickens. You just need to live on a farm. You just need to learn how to spread your meat with refried beans. Oh, you just need to stop getting lattes, all this. Screw you. Stop selling the country out. How about that? Stop wasting our money overseas. How about that? Stop taxing us and regulating us into oblivion. How about that? Oh, go live on a farm. People can't even afford to move. People can't even afford to buy a home. You people are so out of touch, it's absurd. And all of this complaining. Oh, my God. Oh, the communists are going to get in power. Oh, my gosh, the communists. Oh, my gosh, the Muslims. Nobody cares. You guys are sellouts. They're not looking around at Muslims telling them that you're too dumb to realize that you're not in an affordability crisis. They're not looking at communists selling their country out to foreign interest and spreading foreign propaganda every day. Oh, the communists. Oh, Democrats, communists, leftists, socialists, Muslims. Oh, you guys did this. You guys did this. And we all saw it coming. As soon as Trump made it clear that his second term was going to be all about the foreign interest and special interests, you guys did this. Stop lying to us. Stop destroying our country. Stop selling our country out. And people will stop voting for communists. And people will stop voting for Democrats. And people will stop voting for Muslims. But guess what? You guys are doing this. You fake American patriot, right-wing foreign agents, foreign operatives, and foreign loyalists, You guys did this. Everything that follows is your fault. And this is why now more than ever, it's like break from this crap. Break from MAGA, break from Trump, get away from this. These people are tanking everything. You don't want them anywhere near you. And then what? If they end up coming through, guess what? The country wins, we all win. So that's great. But that's not what's happening, is it? That's not what's happening. You know, Ben Shapiro had to chime in. You know, he couldn't help himself. I hear that young people are upset about $20 burritos. Okay, young people, a burrito does not cost $20. If you're paying $20 for a burrito, you're not independently wealthy. You're doing life wrong. Oh, it's your fault you're not rich. We have enough problems as a country without insane expectations that the government is going to provide us with gourmet quality burritos. Nobody's saying any of this. Nobody is saying any of this, you foreign loyalist. You know, by the way, I will give, let me to clear something up here. I see this narrative that Abdul al-Sayed is foreigner. He was born in Michigan. Okay. And they always do that with Shapiro. Well, Shapiro was born in California. Okay. El-Sayed was born in Michigan. So are you going to keep logical consistencies here or not? So Ben Shapiro says, it's your fault you're not rich. You're doing life wrong. It's not the $20 burrito's fault. And you know, I'm curious what other people think about this. And maybe I'll even ask my next guest, Kyle Seraphin, who's going to join us here in a moment, to weigh in on this too. Just going to be kind of open-ended with Kyle. But here's where it's at from my perspective. I certainly understand that there is an element out there that is lazy. I certainly understand that there is an element out there that is kind of just given up. And you can justify that or not. I'm not in the business of why they're making these decisions or if they're good or bad. I certainly understand that there is an element of that. But here's the thing. I am not of that. You are not of that. And this is why, I think that this is why they're so blind on this issue. If they're not just complete liars. I'm not, just to be clear, I'm not complaining, but I know that this is a lie. I am somebody that has been working since I was like 14 years old and I could get a job. I like working. So I'm saying, I'm not complaining. I like working. I liked it. I was a crazy person. I was 15, 16 years old, umping like 6 straight games of baseball in 100-degree weather in St. Louis because I liked working when I was 15, 16 years old. But my point is that they're pretending like every single person out here that's living paycheck to paycheck, or every single person out here that is talking about the cost of living going up is some lazy bum. And it's just completely wrong. I went through years of my life working 7 days a week. I went through years of my life working 50, 60 hours a week. I'm not a lazy bum. You're not a lazy bum. We work. We work. We're proud of our work. We work hard. We work more if we have to. Whatever we got to do to pay the bills and get by, we work. We do that. So this whole argument that, oh, if you can't afford the modern day economy, it's because you're lazy and broke. You know what? There might be an element of truth to that. But for the vast majority of Americans, that is an outright lie, and it is offensive. Because I know for a fact, through my own experience, there are millions of Americans out there working their asses off that can barely afford to get by. And it's not because they make any bad decisions. It's because the economy is unaffordable. But I'll tell you what. Let's take a break right there. We got Kyle Seraphin in studio. And, you know, on this message, Kyle, I remember a time. Maybe we can reminisce here for a minute. My blood pressure's through the roof today. It's not funny.
Listen,
Stop
I think
laughing at
it's
me. You're laughing at my cortisol spike.
Yeah, you're loving the something. You got too much winning. Are we getting an echo?
Yeah. You know what? We're having a weird audio thing. I don't know what's going on.
Hold on,
Here,
let
me
me
try
see
to
if I can fix it.
Yeah, let me
maybe I'll do it on my end. We just did this with somebody else. I didn't have an issue. Maybe I try this.
I feel like
check.
I'm good. My audio is good.
Hear you. Perfect.
I feel like they switched something up in StreamYard here. Here.
All right, can you still hear me? No, I gotta.
Here's what I'm gonna do. Let me see one other thing. All right, now try.
1, 2, 1, 2. Now we're good.
Yeah.
Nope. Not good.
Yeah, that's even worse. I don't know what they did with StreamYard here, but they switched something because apparently we're having audio issues today, and I didn't switch any of my stuff.
I did a podcast with StreamYard the other day, like Friday. They must have done it.
Yeah, it had to be. It had to be this week. Now I'm hearing an echo too. That's right. Hold on. We'll just do this live on air. This is fun. Everybody gets to enjoy this now.
Troubleshoot.
Let me try this. How is it now?
Check.
You still getting an echo?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just looking at all the different things that I can check off here, and there's like nothing left. How about
see if they got an audio from mine. Echo cancels on.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, the echo cancellation is already on, but for some reason now there is an echo when that is on. The only other thing I could try to do is, but that's not going to do it because you're coming through your own audio. You're not coming through a window. Yeah, I don't know. It's always fun dealing with this stuff.
I'm afraid.
So are you getting an echo from me or from you?
From me. I'm getting my own.
You're getting your own?
My own audio is coming back on me.
I'm checking off all the different options to try to see if we can stop this. Are you still getting an echo?
1, 2. 1, 2. Yep.
This deal is cooked. I don't even care. We'll figure this out.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense. All the different echo cancellations are like, that's what I'm saying. Is like I have not changed anything on my end, and then it's like somehow the next day everything changes.
Every couple months, companies will do that. They just help you out by breaking their own product.
That's exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see something here.
It's goofy.
I mean, I've exhausted every single other option.
Should we
I don't know where else to go.
And watch this. I'll just.
And we'll see. This is we'll try everything here. I'll tell you what. I'll give a shout out to David Gockstein in the audience right now. David thinks David is blaming it on Kyle, and I like that. I like David's analysis here. He's blaming it on you. He says you need to switch your sound settings in your Roadcaster.
Yeah, my Roadcaster's squared away.
Are you still getting an echo?
Oh yeah.
Jesus, help me, God.
I mean, I can just dial in on a phone if you want.
Oh yeah, that's fun. That'll be great for radio right here. This is great. This is actually great, entertaining concept right now for you and I. We can't even reminisce. I can't even get a damn audio equipment to work in the damn golden age. Good God. Here, let me try this. Here. Okay, that's not going to do it. Dude, this is hilarious. This is hilarious. Like there's nothing else. I've exhausted all options to try to stop this from sending you.
I blame the NSA generally.
Here, let me try this. All right, now try.
1, 2. Oh, there it goes.
Now I'm not even hearing you.
Yeah, but you fixed it.
Now you're not even coming through at all. All right, what about now?
Yeah, you fixed it while I was muted.
Oh, well, that'll do it. Let's just turn you off, and that way nobody can hear you. Are you still getting this echo now?
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right.
Yeah, your audio clip was muting too. I wonder if you have a double. Like there's a window that's feeding it back in. I'm watching your high IQ chat, and they're very upset about my speakers that are not on that they think are on. I actually do this every once in a while where I'll do like a live troubleshooting, and then I'll get my chat telling me what's going on a system that I've worked on for 4 years. They know what's going on, but they can't see it.
Yeah, and it's funny. My producer's like, "Yeah, it worked when you were muted." Well, that doesn't really help.
It's true, though.
It's like, yeah, let me mute Kyle so that I can't hear him. That'll really help the problem.
It's true. It's true.
Well, I don't know, Kyle. Do we want to struggle through this? You're the one getting the echo, so it's like you're going to have to deal with this crap.
Oh, I'll go nuts.
Yeah, I know. It's impossible. It's impossible.
Yeah, if you're into it, I'll dial in. Otherwise, rant for another hour, and we'll figure it out offline, and we'll do it another time.
I'm going to just recycle through everything. Tell everybody about the golden age.
Well, it's kind of like a golden shower. We got promised about 20 things. We got about two of them. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. I feel like, it looks like you just fixed it, but you probably can't hear me anymore. Now I can't hear you. This is exactly what it sounds like if you try to communicate with the White House. If you let them know what's going on, you just get a failure.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, guys, Kyle Seraphin, the host of the Kyle Seraphin Show. He's been a great guest today. He's contributed a lot to the conversation. I mean, we're really doing it big here, guys. We're really doing it big.
We'll figure it out another time.
This is just killing me. I'm crushed right now. All right. All right, guys, I see you all in the chat. I appreciate it. I'm telling you right now, I have cycled through every possible sound setting there is. This has never been an issue until today. Mm-hmm. Literally never been. I had 2 guests on yesterday. There was no issue. I played clips yesterday. There was no issue. All right, Kyle. You want to try again? We'll try again. I'm sorry, buddy.
No worries.
I apologize for this. What an absolute failure on my part. That's on me, guys. I'm not blaming the guest. That's on me. I don't know what the hell's going on. I have no idea. So that's just great. You know what? I would do the call-in, but it's like, oh, you know what? I wonder if it is a StreamYard issue. Actually, there might be another way to do this. I'd have to bring him on through Skype. That'd be the only other way. But there'd probably be an echo for you, but not for him. And that wouldn't be fun for anybody either. I'll tell you what. I got to take a break. I can't. This is just frustrating me. Let's take a short break and see if we can't figure something out here, guys.
It's the fastest 3 hours on the internet. It's the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
All right. I've just decided let's just stop messing with it. There's no point. It's just becoming frustrated. And I mean, it's not even worth explaining to you, honestly. But it's just it. And look, this is, partially. I take full responsibility. I mean, I run the show. I don't have any audio engineers. I do everything here, and so that's what happens when you run your own show and you have a technical issue. Everything falls apart because I have to handle the technical issues, and then I obviously can't host a show. So Kyle is we're gonna try again another day. I don't know what's going on, guys. I'm telling you, like you open up the studio, all the settings are the exact same, and then one day there's an echo. So it's just like, whatever, we'll just move on. I'm assuming everything is good right now. It's nice to see David in the chat today, host of the David Gockstein Show. He says people have been experiencing issues on StreamYard this week, so I don't know. I guess that's true. Or maybe there's just a tech demon that likes to haunt me, or maybe there's somebody else screwing with me. I don't know, but I got to move on. It's, these damn burritos, man. But, here's what I was going to say. I remember growing up, and we used to do this as kids, especially like 6th, 7th, 8th grade. We do it on Fridays. We were all broke. We don't have any money. 6th, 7th, 8th grade. The only time you could make money is if you had a summer job. But we used to go up to a local sandwich shop, me and the neighborhood kids, on Fridays after school. And you could go get a $5 sub. I mean, if you had $5, you could go eat lunch and get a sandwich. If you had $10, you could help out a friend, or you could, get a bag of chips or a drink or whatever. It's like you used to be able to take $5 up to a local sandwich shop and we could have lunch. And I don't really think that's possible anymore. And then I remember my dad would drop me and my friends off at baseball games. Probably started doing this in 8th grade too, until we could drive ourselves. And with $20, I could get a ticket, a hot dog, a beverage, and still have money left over. In fact, I remember the system we had, because me and a couple friends that we would always do this. We just get $20. You can get $20 from your parents, or it was summer. You might have $20 cash. You're working your job. You get a ticket, a hot dog, and a soda, and then you would make the decision. I think normally we would have like $4 left over, and we would either use the $4 to buy this shaved ice that they had. It was like the shaved lemon ice that they had. And we would either spend the final $4 on that, or we would save the $4 and build up to go to the next ball game. So for $20, you could get in, eat, drink, and enjoy the game. I don't even know. Can you even get in for $20 anymore? I know, guys, we're reminiscing here. No, but the point is, anybody trying to, in my opinion, if you're trying to sell that the economy is good right now, you're either out of touch. You're either out of touch with the current financial situation for most Americans, or you're just not being honest. And maybe there's a little bit of both, because I certainly understand, a lot of people in media, they don't buy groceries. They have people that buy their groceries. They have hired help that does all of this stuff for them. They're not doing that. So they might not know because they don't buy groceries. $20 burrito. I've been meaning to do that. This is just how busy everybody is. But I've been meaning to go to the grocery store. Actually, what I was going to do is, people were sharing their receipts from, I think it was like 2019, 2020. They were showing their grocery store receipts. There were some Walmart receipts I actually saved in my phone because I wanted to go back. And I don't normally shop at Walmart, but I would do this to display the price increase from 2019 to 2026, and I was going to go to Walmart and buy all of the exact same items that were on this itemized receipt and then see what the actual increase was. And obviously it's going to be a pretty stark increase. But it's like I'll go to a local grocery store and I'll try to get the cheapest burritos. I have to make 8 burritos. I'll try to make it the cheapest possible, because that's the argument here, is you have to live like a pauper. You have to live like a serf. And, you know, I don't know about you, but I like to eat more than one burrito. So if you have a family of 8 and you get an 8-pack of tortillas, that means everybody's getting one burrito. And, you know, if you got growing kids at home, they might want more than one burrito too. So the argument here is you have to live like a serf. You have to live like a poor person. And you need to, what did he really say? Spread your meat. What did he say, guys? I can't. Stretch your meat. It's like, God, you need to stretch your meat with refried beans. What are you guys doing in your private lives here? I don't want to know. Don't answer the question. I don't want to know what meat you're stretching with your refried beans. Are we still talking about burritos, by the way? Sorry, son. We can't afford you. You can't have 2 burritos. This is America. It's the golden age. You get one burrito with stretched meat, refried beans. So that's the argument they're making for the golden age is, hey, you get to eat one burrito at dinner and stretch your beef with refried beans. Golden age. Golden age. Oh, boy, I'll tell you, that tech era just... You know, it's so funny, too. You've got... This is like Inception. This is like political propaganda Inception. Daniel S. Loeb, he just reposts Ayel Jacoby, reposts neocon slop. He's the same. He's making fun of poor people. He's making fun of people whose kids. And again, I understand there is an element of this, but he's like, oh, all these loser kids, they vote for Mom Donnie because they're losers. And then he shares a clip of a Cabot Phillips show, you know, with pizza tattooed on his lips. This whole thing is nuts, man. It's like political Inception. And credit to Matt Walsh calling it out. The conservatives on here denying the affordability crisis are engaged in what I can only describe as an act of political suicide. They're also lying, which is the worst part. And why are they lying is the question. Why are they lying? Well, we should go to definitely not psychotic foreign agent Laura Loomer. Maybe she can give us an answer.
These are all statements that have been made by these candidates. Adam Holloway campaigns with us on hikers says, I think that we should get rid of our military. We're going to get rid of our military while we're at war with Iran.
Why are we at war with Iran?
Can allow ourselves to continue to be attacked by Islamic terrorists who are calling for the assassination of Donald Trump.
When were we attacked by Islamic terrorists?
And the assassination of U.S. citizens. I'm telling you, the solution is to arm yourself. The solution is to prepare an arsenal. Prepare for war. Because war is coming. And the war isn't going to be between Republicans and Democrats. It's going to be between Muslims and non-Muslims.
Oh, Muslims and non-Muslims? You understand what she's saying here, guys. And she is right, actually.
It's coming. It's coming. You're going to be at war with Muslims in America. Prepare for war. Because war is coming. And the war isn't going to be between Republicans and Democrats. It's going to be between Muslims and non-Muslims. It's coming. It's coming. You're going to be at war with Muslims in America within the next 5 years. Mark my word.
I actually agree. I think she's right. I believe Laura Loomer is right here. And this is the problem. The reason why you're going to be at war with Muslims is because the Jews that have been fighting Muslims for 3,000 years run our country. And they want a war with Muslims. And they don't give a damn if America is sacrificed or lost in this process. So Laura Loomer is right, 100%. This is all being set up, folks. Our country is being set up. And the Muslims that want to come here and do this, they realized, hey, why are our countries being bombed? Why is it that we're constantly being bombed and attacked from the West? Oh, that's because Israel owns the U.S. government. Oh, that's because the Israeli lobby owns the U.S. Congress and dictates our foreign policy. So They destabilize the Muslim countries. They bring the Muslims into America. The Muslims hate America because America works for Israel. And now a war is coming. And now the 3,000-year-old holy war from the Middle East is about to conquer our country. And I don't know. The whole thing is going to fail. The whole conquering of America, destroying America, whatever religious group, the whole thing is going to fail. It will fail. I hope America can survive it. And I think there's going to be some rough times if we can't get the Trump administration back on track here to save the country, which it looks like it might be a lost cause. But I actually agree. I think Laura Loomer is right. I think the 3,000-year-old Middle East holy war is now coming to our country, and prepare accordingly if you want to take it that route. But no, that's what's happening. It's obviously been building up to this. It's never been more obvious. Now the only question is, was this the entire purpose of the Trump administration? Was everything else an act? Was everything else a rug pull, only to bring us to this point of the 3,000-year-old holy war and the United States of America being turned into a weapon for Israel in this war, and then paying the price on the back end? So yes, I do believe that there is about to be a war for America between Muslims and non-Muslims, which is not America's fight. It should never be America's fight. It shouldn't be Christians' fight. We should be independent of all of this. The founding fathers warned about this, and it could end up being our downfall. It could end up being the downfall of our country. It could be the downfall of our economy. It could be the downfall of our borders, our sovereignty, our independence, our prosperity. It could be the downfall of all of it. Because a group of radicals in the Middle East that have been fighting for 3,000 years have finally reached our shores and our country, and now you're in it. And unless Trump wants to rip us out of this thing before it gets worse, it's probably inevitable. It's probably inevitable, guys. Now, here's a weird exchange. Cam Higbee. If a Muslim is running for office as a left-wing candidate, just know he's pretending. The supreme law of his religion is dialectically opposed to everything the left stands for. Wait a second. Cam Higbee arguing that Muslims are conservatives? Cam Higbee arguing that Islam is right-wing now and conservatives? That's odd. That's a weird thing to say. So does that make you a leftist for opposing them then? And then Netanyahu comes out and says, we understand that the Palestinians seek to destroy us because we promote the values of progress and democracy. Progressive democracy. Oh, that's leftist. That's leftist. And then he says freedom and liberty. So, he's trying to cater to the left. He's trying to cater to the right. But really, this is Netanyahu knowing that the United States of America is just a weapon of his now. The Israel lobby has purchased our government, and it is a weapon of Netanyahu's in this holy war. But so Cam Higbee says Muslims are right-wing, and then Netanyahu says that Israel promotes the values of progress and democracy, which is left-wing. By the way, I'm slowly becoming anti-democracy, by the way, guys. I have to tell you. I think I'm anti-democracy now. And I think it's inevitable that people are going to reach this same conclusion. And by the way, this is not how our country was set up. We are a republic, not a democracy. Very important to understand this. And so when I see people complaining about lazy Americans that go vote for Democrats, when I see political pundits complain about lazy young people voting communist, there's a solution, right? We get rid of democracy. That's what you have to do. It's very simple. If you want to vote in this country, you got to be a landowner or something of that nature. We don't have to go back to the traditionalist interpretation of these laws. We don't have to go back to how they were originally presented, but the concept maybe was right. Yeah, maybe everybody shouldn't vote. Yeah, maybe if you live off the government, you shouldn't vote. Yeah, maybe if you don't own anything, you shouldn't vote. They say I don't offer solutions. The people that say that I don't offer solutions obviously don't listen to the show. No, I think it's pretty clear. Not everybody should be voting. Yeah. I don't think there is a right to vote. There never was a right to vote. It's total BS. And I think we're seeing why democracy is failing. And, you know, it's actually funny. I was going to use this story, but I don't live in Missouri. I wasn't close to this. I just saw the headline that Missouri voters rejected cutting their taxes. And I said, how is this even real? If people are out there voting for higher taxes, I'm done with democracy. If my fellow countrymen can go out and vote to raise my taxes, I'm done with democracy. I'm done. I don't believe in it. I don't want it. It's as bad as communism as far as it might as well be communism at that point. If communists can vote their way into turning America into a communist country, then I am against a democracy. I am against more voting. Yeah, I'll come out and say it. I'm not even shy about it. They say I don't offer solutions. There's a solution for you right there. Now, am I going to go die on this hill? Probably not. But there's your solution right there. For all these people complaining about lazy communists, well, to take away their vote. Say, if you want to vote, you need to go own something. Now, of course, the problem with that is nobody can get into the ownership category. Nobody can get into the asset column. So then that becomes the issue politically that you have to debate. But man, I got to say, now I did look more into that bill, and there was probably a good reason why people voted against it. It was another head fake. It was another, hey, we're going to pretend to cut your taxes, but we're actually raising your taxes. So I guess I understand why people didn't go vote for it. But it was just the concept. And it's happened here in Austin, by the way. We've had ballot measures in Austin. We've had ballot measures in Texas to cut taxes. They fail. And I'm like, if somebody is going and voting against cutting taxes, like, I'm sorry, I don't want you to vote. I don't want you to vote. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want you to vote. I don't think you should have a right to vote. If you go vote to raise taxes, I don't want you anywhere near a voting booth. I don't. I want to deny your right to vote. I'm going to be honest. It's beyond outrageous. It's beyond outrageous. I'm not here to, you can't vote me into slavery. And that's what it is. We have been voted into slavery. So I'm starting to rethink the entire concept of democracy here in America. I think it's been a failure. I think the results prove it's been a failure. So take that one to the bank. How do you like that deal? Oh my gosh, I can't. I gotta just. We might have to just cut it here, guys. I don't know if I can do it. I will say this is nice to see. I mean, man, what a struggle this was. Judge reluctantly approves DOJ request to drop January 6 charges against Oath Keepers. Thank God. Man, did that require a struggle. But I guess since they're going to cancel, since Trump is going to cancel the anti-weaponization fund, he figured he had to try to give them a bone. So he made sure they dropped that case. Let's see. What else do we have here? I can't do this. I got to move on from some of this. I'll tell you what. Let's do this. Let's conclude the content today with the third party. Okay? And let me start right here. And believe me, guys, believe me, this is going to be a major factor moving forward. More than I can even express, and I'll try my best to do so here. Now, this was a post. It's just one example. Everybody knows what I'm talking about here, but this post was going viral here from Captain Allen. Says he's a lawyer and historian with passion for Jewish history. Okay, on and on and on. He says, the Holocaust is singular. Nothing in history equals it. Now, you can get into a debate about the Holocaust. You take it at face value, and you can compare the Holocaust to all the other genocides, all the other mass murder, all the other horrific things that have happened throughout history. But even on World War II, let's not forget that 80 million white Christian men died in that war. 80 million white Christian men died to defeat the Nazis. Now, you notice that number doesn't get etched into your head. That number doesn't get repeated time and time again. That isn't used to benefit white people. The fact that white people, white Christians, made the greatest sacrifice of all to defeat the Nazis, and then they get no credit for it. And there's no post-World War II apparatus to benefit white people. And if there was, it was the boomer generation, and then that's it. And that's why the rest of us are sitting up here getting a little frustrated. So, it's the Holocaust, and that's why we have to be as woke as possible when it comes to Jewish people. And we have to be as woke as possible when it comes to Israel because of World War II and the Holocaust. Now, here's why I'm saying this today. People are damn sick and tired of living under the post-World War II propaganda. And there's this weird thing, like Joel Berry tries to stretch his meat with refried beans. There's this weird thing to try to stretch out this post-World War II world into, because of the Holocaust, Jews are the most protected individuals, and they have to be, and they're the biggest victims no matter what happens. And this is the concept, and this is the propaganda, and this is why it's overwhelming in all the history books, and everywhere you go, there's a Holocaust museum, because that's the propaganda they want you to be conquered by. And that's exactly what's happening. But we're sitting here like, hey, look, we're almost 100 years past this war. Americans fought and died to win it. We're kind of getting sick and tired of this post-World War II stuff, especially the younger generations. It's like the reverence in the post-World War II mindset past the boomers has faded. It's gone. And so young people are sick of it. They're sick of the post-World War II concepts and then being forced into this globalization with the World War II propaganda over your head. It's like, hey, don't forget, no matter what, the Jewish people and the Nazis and the Holocaust, no matter what, it's like an anvil over your head, no matter what, you know, hey, this is the biggest thing. So this is failing. Now, this is leading to what? This is leading to people abandoning not just the post-World War II propaganda, but it's leading them to abandon the entire foreign policy. Now, Robert O'Neill, obviously one of the most famous SEAL Team 6 ever, killed Osama bin Laden. He says, can we ease up on charities asking for money for Holocaust survivors? I know 100-plus-year-olds have sensitive diets, but it's been a while, right? No, you have to live under the anvil of the Holocaust for the rest of your life. But, of course, we're rejecting this. And I will tell you that this has a lot to do with this idea to form a third party. And you saw that image of Tucker Carlson, Thomas Massie, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Joe Kent, and then Trump responded to that, panicked about that. Because, you see, Trump is so egomaniacal. I don't know if he really cares about America as much as he cares about himself. And as long as he can have some legacy in whatever world he leaves, he'll be happy. But he knows that if maybe he doesn't care about the midterms, but he knows that if the Republican Party fails and a third party rises, that that's his failure. If the Republican Party dies, that's on Donald Trump. And I don't think Trump likes that legacy. And I think that that's why he's freaked out about this third party, because they're going to expose Donald Trump as a fake patriot and a fake conservative. So there's talks of this third party, and part of this is breaking from the post-World War II propaganda and saying, we reject this. We're not going to be dominated by this. We're over this. This is almost 100 years old. We're moving on from this. Now, here's the danger. That just means they're going to hit us with something big. That's kind of how I interpret this. If they see that the people of the world, maybe more directly, if they see that the people of America, the people of Europe, if they see that white Christians are moving on from post-World War II propaganda, that just means they're going to hit us with the next big one. That's all it means, guys. You really think Trump has got the globalists off our back? You really think Trump has gotten the deep state off our back? You really think Trump has taken away the shadow government and the secret societies that run this planet, and he's gotten them out of our politics, out of our country? If anything, he's joined them. So just like they ran the COVID scam under President Trump, if they really look at this as an existential crisis for the globalists, and they really look at this as an existential crisis for Israel, that just means you're getting a new World War III. Now, to be clear, you're already in a World War III. See, most humans' minds operate under some level of an umbrella of propaganda. So it's like, unless they see a headline saying it's World War III, unless they see a news broadcast saying it's World War III, unless they see a politician saying it's World War III, it doesn't register. Unless they see bombs going off around them or whatever, unless some position of authority makes up their mind for them that you're in World War III, they don't believe it. You're already in World War III. This whole situation with Iran, this is already World War III. And there's news out of Russia today. In fact, this news out of Russia and Ukraine, honestly, this is probably the most important war of our lifetimes. And they're not telling you it's World War III because they don't want you to pay attention to what's going on. But they see, the powers that be, the globalists, who move and shake everything, they see that Europe and America are ready to move on from the post-World War II world. They see that. And the post-World War II world has been what's been used to morph and shape the new globalism. Well, now that they see it's being rejected, that just means they got to hit us with something new to advance their globalist cause. So I don't know if it's aliens, energy crisis, whatever it is, it just means they're gearing up for it. And I would say the odds are they're going to do it under Donald Trump because they already did it with COVID. So whatever it is, I feel like it's coming down, and it's coming down fast. But you see this stuff that's happening in Russia, you see that, and Ukraine, you see the stuff going on with Iran, the Middle East, like, you're already in World War III, guys. I would say that we've been at war my entire life. America's been at war. We've been overseas. There's been some fighting going on our entire lives. This one will be the most impactful as far as your bottom line is concerned. The other wars, okay, they're expensive. The other wars, all right, we get refugees because of it. This one is like affecting everything. It's affecting your energy costs. It's affecting your grocery costs. It's affecting everything that happens in D.C. It's reshaping the world. It's potentially going to take away America as a factor of global dominance. This thing could reshape everything. And by the way, Russia is now finding new ways to get around sanctions. They're building all their own stuff now. Russia's manufacturing all of its own stuff now. Airplanes, I mean, they got it all. So the sanctions ended up benefiting Russia because Russia's become independent now. Meanwhile, America's still dependent on China. That's not changing. All of this stuff is the most impactful. For most intents and purposes, you're already in World War III. They're just not telling you that. And of course, Trump will never tell you that because Trump promised he'd stop World War III. But Trump has us in. We're in World War III. That's what's going on. But, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, did your precious media not tell you? Did your precious Fox News not tell you you're in World War III? Did your precious mainstream media? Oh, nobody told me. No position of authority told me. No politician told me, so I don't believe it. That's because you're brainwashed. That's because you're still a mind slave. You're already in World War III. Just because nobody's telling you that doesn't mean it's not true. Why do you think Trump can't get us out of this deal? Why do you think Trump is stuck in this mess? Because whatever happens at the end of this, it's going to impact us big time. Now, I find this funny. It seems like they're trying to get Tucker Carlson to run. Now, Joe Kent went on with the Young Turks and kind of explained it. But the measurements that are happening, and don't be surprised if a Rob O'Neill gets involved with some of this stuff, maybe not directly, but maybe through his social media. He's very popular. Sean Ryan, they're going to kind of lead the veterans wing of this. the Sean Ryans, the Robert O'Neills, others like that, they're going to lead the veteran wing of this. Joe Kent. And believe me, the overwhelming support from the veteran community is all going to go in this direction. If you got Robert O'Neill and you got Joe Kent and you got Sean Ryan and they decide we're going to support a third-party candidate against the Israeli lobby for a patriot party, the veterans will join it en masse. The veterans will turn out for this. It'll be huge. It'll be huge. And then you'll have dissident left, you'll have dissident right, and they'll join this. This has a serious shot. Now, I don't know if a third party can win yet, but I do think there's a serious shot. I think that there is a serious opportunity for a third party. Now, quite frankly, I think what would need to happen is Elon Musk would have to fund it. I think they'd have to announce it. They'd have to call it the Patriot Party, and it would have to be funded by Elon Musk. And Musk would have to pull his support from the Republicans, stop funding Republican Party politics, and bankroll a Patriot Party. Now, for Musk, this would be a major risk factor because if you back a third party and it doesn't win, obviously this is going to hurt his bottom line, and the DC establishment will do everything they can to punish him. And he's got government contracts up one side and down the other. So you can only imagine what they would do to Elon Musk if he backed a third party and it lost. But I think that that's probably the path to victory. If it was possible, you'd have to have a veteran coalition with the likes of Rob O'Neill, Sean Ryan, and Joe Kent. You'd have to have kind of a centrist, moderate, independent media aspect. That would be the Tucker Carlson part of the coalition. And then you would have to have the disenfranchised Republicans, the disenfranchised conservatives politically, and that would be represented by a Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massie coalition. And with this coalition, you could have a serious political movement. And all you would need is somebody to financially back it. Call it the Patriot Party. Elon Musk backs it. Now, obviously, if that happened, the Republicans would go into panic attacks because you're pulling most voters away from Republicans. And yes, you could potentially open it up for a Democrat to win, but that's not going to stop anybody. That game is over. This whole, hey, vote Republicans because they're not Democrats, it ain't selling. Nobody's buying it. We don't want to hear it anymore. But that's what they would start doing. That would be the Republican Party's attempt to stop a third party. Say, oh my gosh, if you do this, the Democrats will win. And we're just going to say, we don't care. We don't care. Bye. We're trying to save the country. You guys run off and work with the foreign lobby. You guys run off and sell the country out. You guys run off and be losers again. We're moving forward. And it's so funny watching the denial here. And I give an example. You get in it with these people on X. So here's this Cynthia Holt. Oh, these people are so woke. Look at that woke bio. Total woke. Tucker Carlson is a lying, backstabbing piece of S. You were never MAGA, blah, blah, blah. So I said, that's funny. I saw Tucker Carlson on the campaign trail, not you. So then this other guy weighs in. He says, and then like you, stabbed him in the back. This is the most misdirected frustration I've ever seen in my life. You guys, you're barking up the wrong tree. Tucker Carlson is not in the White House. Owen Schroyer is not in the White House. You know who is? Donald Trump and the Republican Party. Why are you complaining at us? The reason you're directing your frustration at us is because you know we're right, but you're too cowardly to direct it at the people in power. So we have to do that for you, and we have to have you ankle biting us the entire time we're doing it. I'm sorry. Was it Tucker Carlson and Owen Schroyer that got us into a war in Iran? Was it Tucker Carlson and Owen Schroyer that caused gas prices to go up? Was it Tucker Carlson and Owen Schroyer that didn't do the mass deportations? Was it Tucker Carlson and Owen Schroyer that spiked the Epstein case? Was it Tucker Carlson and Owen Schroyer that didn't arrest anybody from the Obama or the Biden administrations? Was that Tucker Carlson and Owen Schroyer, or was that Donald Trump and the Republicans? Who's responsible for the decisions being made in Washington, D.C. right now? Tucker Carlson or Donald Trump? So why don't you guys stop directing your hatred and rage and anger and frustration at people that have nothing to do with policymaking decisions? And why don't you find your ball sacks? Why don't you find your spines? Why don't you find a little hint of courage, do an about face, and start addressing the people in power? But you know what? The funny thing is, the more you guys bark at us, the bigger we get, quite frankly. The more you guys sit here and express your frustration towards us just leads people to us, and then they listen and they realize we're right about everything and that you guys are a bunch of cucks and sellouts. So you can express all of the frustration you want at people that have nothing to do with policymaking decisions. But if you actually want to see some change, it's time to express these frustrations with the administration and the Republican Party. Or nothing will change, and you just look like another useless fop that does political commentary. Boy, that was a hot show today, huh? Had some technical difficulties. That was a hot show. Good Lord, what in the hell is this? Oh, that whole, I don't even want to don't even get me into that. All right. Let's go into the super chats as we do at the end of every show. I knew I couldn't get through all this news. I knew I wouldn't be able to get through all the news, but we got through a lot of it. But I've already blown too many gaskets and had too much cortisol. It's time to just get to the super chats. So, as we do at the end of every show, we read our super chats on YouTube. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in today and for all the super chats. We start with Who is Amaze? TPUSA called all big-name YouTubers. They all say the same thing about Candace Crowder, the quartering, Osmongold, you name it. YouTube consolidated like stocks, crypto, and politics, all controlled. Cream filling. How can you have any refried beans if you don't finish your meat? What do they say in the actual song, though? You can't have your pudding, right? How can you have any pudding? They can keep Tucker. Huge hug Savage. Who's they? Dust Vault. I just want to be the first one on record to say that Tucker Carlson will run and be the next president of the United States of America. I mean, folks, they're twisting his arm. I don't think he wants to do it. I don't know. But this is going to be part of the process. I talked about this earlier on the show. Part of this process is going to be, look, I like Tucker. And I understand there's a lot of people that don't trust Tucker. And this is going to be part of this process, guys. This process is going to be nasty. The reformation of the right wing post Donald Trump, filling this void of where can we get patriotism in politics post Donald Trump. This fight is going to be nasty. The fight to fill that void and the fight in this purification of who can be trusted and who can't be, it's going to be nasty. It's going to get very nasty. And I don't think Tucker really wants to run, but they're trying to twist his arm here. Right now, they're just kind of building the coalition. Right now, they're just kind of figuring, okay, where can we draw people in? Where can we build a coalition? Then they'll kind of get to a point where it's like, all right, who do we want to be the face? Who do we want to be the candidate? Who will back this? The process is just beginning. But there's already so much fuel in the tank for this movement. There's already so much political capital that can be rebuilt. You know, all the political capital that Trump sold off to the foreign interests and big tech. This can all be rebuilt, reformed in this probably a single election cycle, honestly. But they're kind of going through this process right now. What about DSA version of the Republican Party? Well, that's basically what's going to happen. And the big mistake the Republicans, and it's going to, what's funny is now you're going to have to look at this debate over who's more corrupt, the Republicans or the Democrats. And right now it's the Republicans. Right now the Republicans are more corrupt than the Democrats, but that's mostly just because they're in power. It's like whoever's in power is going to be more corrupt, obviously. But what the Democrats have done, or what they've allowed to happen, even if they're resenting it, they've stopped all the gatekeeping. They've stopped the gatekeeping. And so I see all these right-wingers complaining about the Democrats bringing on Hassan Piker. Hey, why don't you stop bitching about what the left is doing, and why don't you try to match it? There's a crazy idea. Instead of sitting here and pointing at the left and crying, why don't you try to match their energy and match what they're doing so you can beat them? So, yeah, if you want the Republicans to compete with this new breed of Democrat socialists, you need to stop gatekeeping. If you want somebody to counter Hassan Piker in the national media, why don't you stop gatekeeping? Why don't you let somebody into Republican Party politics that might be a little abrasive, might be a little rough around the edges, but can be in that arena with the Hassan Piker, can be controversial from the right wing? Why don't you try that? No, the Republicans are so desperate. They're clinging to this power. And unfortunately, patriotic conservatives are going to be forced to start a third party because the Republicans will not relinquish power. The neocons will not relinquish power. The foreign lobby owns the Republican Party. So now we've realized this. We said we have no vehicle. There is no vehicle right now for the right wing to save this country. We thought it could be the Republican Party. We thought it could be Trump. We were wrong. We were duped. So now we realize, okay, there's no vehicle here. We've got to build our own vehicle. And you watch, the Republicans are going to go nuts. But that's what they need to do. These corrupt neocon bastards, these foreign loyalist filth, they cannot control right-wing conservatism. They cannot control patriot policy anymore. It has to be stopped. So that's why I think the third party might be inevitable for 2028. Last night's election told me that people are more concerned about AIPAC and Israel. Kind of scary, because that just means the Israeli lobby is about to go all in because they are losing the support of America. Yeah, I think we all see this head-on collision we're heading to. Endless possibilities. Trump is the non-Jewish Messiah, as his name adds up to 424 in gematria. They say it, Owen, and he gives them everything. He will drag America down. Yeah, well, if you want to go deep into a rabbit hole on that deal, go look up Donald Trump Moonchild. That's a fun one. Trump knows he is dying of congestive heart failure in a few months. He's not trying to get arrested. Vance will pardon the Trumps when he's in office. Vance can't win against Massey. You really believe that? I'm not so sure. I don't really believe the Trump health concerns thing. It's getting a little weird, I will say. But I don't know. I'm not really all in on the health stuff with Trump. The makeup is weird. The stuff going on in his hands is weird. I don't know. For an 80-year-old man, he's impressive, I guess. But I don't know. I'm not really too invested in the health issues. The Invisible Man. Hey, Owen, great job as always. It's a little late. How about a ground bomb day? Poxitani Yiztak. No, Boomer is the leader in the clubhouse still. We're going to wait till the end of the week. It's only Wednesday. Boomer is the leader in the clubhouse for our groundhog here. Okay. It's a nice look, too. I kind of like it. People think it's a beaver. It's not. I mean, come on. Look at those teeth. You think those are beaver teeth? Those are groundhog teeth. Come on, guys. All rise for me 99. This got to be an Aaron Judge fan. Love the show, and Poxitani Phil on the desk. I called Tim Kaine, Mark Warner, and my Republican representative, John McGuire. All three gave me the runaround on a USA First agenda. F them all. Well, yeah, it is shocking to find out that our politicians don't work for us. Justine B. We'll be building the third temple with gold bars our government military stole from Iraq during the weapons of mass destruction war. Well, I don't know. That's part of it. I don't want to get into the stuff I'm hearing out of D.C. on that right now. I've just decided to kind of crack the window on that for you guys today. Well, I guess I did that on, was that Monday I first started talking about? I got to be careful, okay? I got to be careful because things are, I mean, guys, they got, As far as information coming out of D.C. is concerned, they have it so freaking tight. It's just like with the Biden administration. It's just like when Biden would disappear for days and you wouldn't hear anything. Now, it's different because it's not about Trump's health. It's just about what's really happening behind the scenes. But why do you think the administration is pulling people's cell phones, going through all of their electronic stuff, looking for leakers and moles? Like, they're freaked, man. Trump wants total information control right now. And, you know, how do you control what 100 people surrounding you every day say or don't? You can't. So you try to spy on them. You try to go in their devices every time you get an excuse. But no, there's a different theory floating around as far as where the gold is going to come from. I'm not sold on it yet. I've seen it out there before, the theories. But if I ever feel more inclined to bring that up, I will. But they're not talking about gold out of Iraq, okay? I'll tell you that. That's not what they're talking about. Lil Gothics, you read reports about Republican staffer pipelines, now 40-75% groypers. Seems Nick's plan the last 10 years is bearing fruit. You should have him on. Well, I've invited Nick on. I haven't heard back, but that's all right. Well, it's similar to what I say. I don't know about, groypers. I guess that means if you follow Nick is a groyper technically, or is there like a policy thing behind it? Because I see people kind of throw that around and say, "Oh, groyper." It's like, well, I don't consider myself a groyper. I'm sure Nick and I have some policy agreements, obviously. But you know what's funny about that? This is the denial of the current Republican establishment. This is what they need to see. The average Republican voter right now is closer to the philosophy and mindset of Nick Fuentes than Ben Shapiro. And really, that's not even close. That might be the extreme examples. I don't know if you, where would I be to the right, to the left? I don't even know. I'm nowhere. I'm not even on the map right now. Let me know when there's a serious movement to save the country again that's not going to get rug pulled by Trump, and maybe I'll join it. I'm neutral now. I'm reading news now. I like the fact that people tune into my show and they don't even know what side I'm on. They don't know if I'm left, right, anything. I appreciate that. I'm going to stay in that lane for the time being. But what I'm saying is, yes, the people inside D.C. that work, they feel like us. They can't say anything. They're scared of the Trump administration, guys. They know that if you go against Trump right now, you're not getting any funding for the midterms. You won't get the Trump endorsement. They'll cut you off. Trump will write mean messages about you on social media. So they're scared. They're scared. Straight up, they're scared. So they have to find people in the media that aren't scared, and they, give you the signals. But yeah, I would say if you want to look at the future of the Republican Party, it looks and sounds and talks and thinks like Nick Fuentes, and it completely rejects somebody like Ben Shapiro. And so this is the weird denial phase where Trump is like purely catering to boomers. And then you have the Israeli lobby that's trying to yank the young people back on board, and it's just getting totally rejected. And so they want to live in this denial that, no, most Americans on the right wing are way closer to a Nick Fuentes than they are to a Ben Shapiro. So you can credit Nick with that, or you can just say this is an organic, inevitable thing that's happening. But this is kind of what they're in denial of. When I saw last night the mail-in ballots drop to make up a 15-point deficit to be tied, my stomach turned because I knew they were going to try to steal the election. Abdul still only won by 2 points. I think they did. I think they did try to steal it. And if this was a Republican versus a Democrat and that happened, every single Republican would be saying it was a stolen election. If it was Trump, every MAGA person would be saying they tried to steal it with mail-in ballots. So why are they silent on that, I wonder? Well, that's because how much money is AIPAC going to spend? How much money is the Israel lobby going to spend to keep al-Sayed out of the Senate? AIPAC itself is in for $30 million. And then there were other Israeli lobbies that doubled that. So they spent $60 million to try to stop Saeed from winning the primary. $60 million. They're already in for $60 million. I would say the Israel lobby puts another $40 million in for Rogers. They're going to spend $100 million to stop El Saeed. Guys, just think rationally. Not conspiratorial. Just think rationally for 1 second. Nothing extreme, nothing conspiratorial, nothing emotional. Just think pure rationale right here. Why would a foreign lobby spend $100 million on a single Senate race? Why would somebody pay Donald Trump $100,000 a month for inside information in stock market trades? If you're willing to invest $100,000 a month, you're getting a positive return on that investment. If you're the Israeli lobby and you're going to spend $100 million on a single Senate race, you expect a return on that investment. What does a return on $100 million for a single Senate race look like? Ownership of your military? Ownership of your vote? Ownership over your foreign policy? Ownership over how justice and speech laws are applied? You tell me. Weird he's making all these improvements to the White House like he thinks he's about to live there forever. He'll be out before all those are built. Well, that's kind of funny. Yeah, but they did the same thing with the Air Force One, so I don't know. That is funny, though. Maybe he does. Brado Jocko, if it's uniparty theater, would Trump fear arrest? Well, I think that's the mismeasurement. I think Trump assumes that he'll get loyalty returned, and I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think the deep state will be loyal to Trump. If he thinks he's going to get all clear and safe on this, I think he's got another thing coming. Everyone else is taking over except Israel. There's every other issue except that, guys. There's no other issues. I'm a real leftist, and I agree with Owen 100%. French laundry. All right. What percentage of meat in U.S. is lab meat now? Read your ingredients labels, guys. You might be surprised at how many of them say biologically engineered ingredients on them. It's quite shocking. Ebubacks, true. Be a farmer, bro. Could arguably be another psyop. How about no, and we preserve our purchasing power? Growing stuff is cool, though. Well, yeah, I'm not saying I'm not saying it's not a good life decision. I'm not saying it's like classic Americana. I mean, that's what raised the country was farmers. I mean, Americans were farmers. Everybody was a farmer. If you've been in America, the Schroyer family's been in America since the 1600s. They were all farmers. In fact, it's really pretty much they were all farmers until the last two generations. Even my grandpa had a farm. So most heritage Americans are connected to farming. Now, in the modern sense, it's not as much as of a necessity, but it does kind of, you know, it hurts your independence if you can't grow your own food. But that's not even the point. It's just they're coping with the fact the economy is a disaster. And so they're coping with this by saying, oh, go be a farmer. Oh, go eat go use refried beans to stretch your beef in a burrito. It's just like, just say the economy's bad, guys. Just admit it. Stop lying to people. Admit Trump has failed on the economy. But they're all in cahoots now for the foreign lobby. So that's what it's all about. Ben Shapiro doesn't know what a graveyard shift is. Hey, let's not go down that path. Food and gas prices are positively correlated. Why are the gas prices high? Boomers need to sit down before they crap their pants. Well, Trump's about to crap the whole country, so. Double Kyle is twice the fun. Part of our bacon cheeseburger nationalist here. I don't know what I'm going to do about this audio stuff, guys. It's inexplicable. Honestly, it has to be some sort of glitch in the system. There is no more troubleshooting I can do. So we'll see. I got guests on tomorrow. I'm supposed to do a debate with Andrew Wilson, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. Oh, come on. David's always been nice to me. So if you don't like his content, that's for you. But he's always been fine with me. Not mad at the crew. I'm the crew. I'm mad at myself. We're going to rebroadcast. No, we're not going to cortisol spike and walk off. Well, you know what, guys? The whole crypto world is just not in a good place right now. So it's bad. You must have a speaker feeding back into the mic. No. That Larry Loomer clip had echo too. Yeah, it's not. There's no speaker on in the studio. That's why I have headphones in. There's no speaker. Classic feedback loop. It wasn't the guest. Use a headshot or don't point speakers at mics. Okay, I appreciate that. There is no speaker. And I highly doubt that Kyle was pointing a speaker at a mic either. 10 years ago, 103K was top 10%. Now it's 160K. Yeah, I mean, really, it all depends on where you live. But you need to be making about 150 or 200,000 a year to be not living in the margins, basically. Anything less than 150,000 a year, you're living in the margins. You're cutting it close, which is sad. That's not the American dream. John Franson, we need to prioritize. Before we raise money for a new studio, let's chip in to raise money to hire a sound engineer. Yeah. Well, really, but see, that's why the new studio is priority number one, because when I do the new studio build, I will bring in another sound engineer to do it. It's like I have sound engineering experience enough to build this studio and handle basic things. But, you know, I've never run a Beyonce concert. You know what I'm saying? So I can bring in somebody that's actually run, you know, massive concerts at the biggest venues in the world to come set this up. Guys, it's so bad. I don't know. I don't know if I want to get into the details of the current situation with the endeavors to get a new studio. It's just insane how screwed up the housing market is. But you know what? It's more than the housing market, because the current state of, let's say, getting a loan, getting a mortgage, all this stuff. If you have made the worst decisions ever, or like you just came here illegally, you have all the advantages right now to get loans from the banks. It's crazy. It's insane. If I was like a criminal or an illegal alien or something like that, or like I had nothing to even put down for a house, they would find a way to put me in a house. But it's like, because I can make a down payment, or because I have capital, or because I have a high credit score, they will not let me buy a house. Guys, I'm telling you, someday I'll probably tell the story, because it's getting to the point now where I'm about to give up hope. The challenge to buy a new house in Austin, Texas right now is nuts. It is nuts. And if you can get a 6% interest rate, you're considered lucky. They're looking for 10% right now, guys. They are looking for 10% right now. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, how does this make any sense? How does this make any sense that I can be in a better situation to buy a house? Why? Why would I build up a credit score? What is the point? What is the point? I have an 810 credit score, and I can't even get approved for a loan. I have the down payment. It's like I have everything I need, and they're like, well, no, we consider you high risk. We consider you high risk. We have to do 10%. What kind? Who signs a 10% mortgage rate? Well, you can refinance. No, I can't. There's never going to be a refinance. This thing's cooked. And now, because of this, and I'm actually going to do a segment on this if I can ever get my studio figured out. I've got a guest coming on next week to talk about the housing market. Guys, it is insane. So what's happening now is nobody wants to get a 6% interest rate. And at the end of the day, what they're looking for is a mortgage payment that is within the realm of affordability. So they just want, if you want to pay, let's say you can afford $2,000, $3,000, whatever it is a month. All that matters to them is getting into that $3,000 a month range. So whether the interest is 3% or whether the interest is 6% or whether the interest is 10%, they have to get to that number that they have budgeted for their monthly mortgage payment. So what's happening now is, and it depends on where you're at. Some places you're having the opposite effect. What's happening right now in Austin is a house 5 years ago that cost $450,000 is currently on the market for $300,000. And that's all because of the interest rates. So anybody that purchased a house in Austin from like 2018 to 2022, you're in the negative equity now. And because you were able to get an interest rate at 2, 3, 4%, so your monthly payment is down, you could pay a little bit more for a house. But because you paid the higher price for a house, now everybody that's trying to buy a house, they're looking at 6, 7, 8%. They can't pay what you paid for it. I'm telling you guys, this thing is, this bubble. And you know what's funny too? It's like the whole thing is a bubble. Everything is a bubble. The money is fake. And politicians usually get into office and they realize everything is a bubble, but they don't want it to pop while they're in office. So they'll do like very measured, controlled ways of just putting a little air into the bubbles. Like not too much so that it pops, but enough that it stays afloat. So it's like most politicians, that's kind of the strategy. They realize the whole thing's a bubble. So just a little inflation here, you know, a little here, just keep it afloat, but don't make it pop. Trump gets in there with like an electronic air hose. Like Trump is in there with a damn air pump, like just inflating this bubble to an extreme degree. And that's what he did with COVID. That's why the permanent damage to the economy happened during COVID. So I'm just ranting at this now, but it's so frustrating, guys. It's so frustrating. So I don't know if I can't get a deal done to move, and I have to move. I have to move for multiple reasons I don't even want to get into. And it's just like impossible to do right now. It's just impossible in the golden age. And so it's probably my fault though. You know, it's probably my fault. Ben Shapiro and Joel Berry will tell me it's my fault. Yeah, it's my fault. It's my fault that the economy sucks. I need to be eating refried beans, feeding my kids. Tell my kids, sorry, kids, it's the golden age. Here, have some refried beans. It's all we can afford. It's golden age. It's just so frustrating, man. It's just the American dream is just, it's just dead. You work your whole life. You work 20 plus years. You can't even afford to move. They won't give you a mortgage rate. Oh, yeah, build up your credit. Means nothing. But hey, if you're an illegal alien or whatever, hey, come right over, get all the advantages, get low interest rates, get free money. It's crazy, man. That's what I should do, actually. I should come in the country from Mexico. I'll claim my name is, Juan Pablo. Juan Pablo here. And I am not even kidding you. I could probably get a better interest rate. I could probably get a better deal done on a home as Juan Pablo, an illegal alien from Mexico. They could find free money for me. They could find different ways in the system to cut my interest rate. But because I'm an American, that pays my bills and works and pays my taxes and believed the system was built to benefit me, and if I got that high credit score like I was told, that I could buy the house I wanted as long as I had the right capital, and then you get to that situation and you get to the table and they say, sorry, it was all a lie. But if I came in as Juan Pablo, they'd find money. They'd find free money. They'd find ways to cut my interest down to 4%, 3%. It's my fault for being an American and working hard my whole life. I guess that's my fault, guys. Do one thing for your followers, Owen. Please find the video of Trump reading the snake poem while at rallies. Please do this and think about now. Well, we talk about this a lot, endless possibilities. It's not like that's a hard thing to find. How do you see this Muslim versus America war ensuing? I grew up here and no Muslim I know is looking to start a war here. Al-Aqsa bomb, Muslim politicians flipping a switch. Where is this coming from? I think I've already answered that earlier in the show, and that's kind of a big, it's a big lift there. I mean, I guess I'll try to summarize it. Because the Israeli lobby owns our foreign policy, they control our military. We bomb all the Muslim countries in the Middle East. They get resettled here, brought in as refugees. They find out, oh, the Israeli lobby controls the U.S. military. That's why they bomb my countries. So then they grow up in the country hating America, hating Israel. And now they're taking political action. And now, because we've bombed so many Muslim countries, now they have the numbers to win in a democratic system. Does that kind of sum it up for you? Owen, your show needs to be #1 on YouTube. Well, I agree with that. I agree. Maybe someday, guys. Just wanted to stop by and say F AIPAC and Israel. Abdul says anti-Israel just means noticing kids got bombed while corporate lobbyists cash the checks. Palestine's 21st century Holocaust is worse than Russia's war. Fox News, Islamophobia, DLC is effing pathetic. Well, this is the crazy thing about it's like they ram you with the Holocaust propaganda your entire life. And they tell you never again, worst thing in human history. And so fine. So people will reach that conclusion and they don't want to disagree with it. The way it's presented, you say this is a monstrous thing. We never want to see it again. Okay. So you get brought up. This is taught to you in history. It's put into all of the media. They make the movies. They put the Holocaust Museum down the street, and they make sure you know that that was the worst thing ever so that we never do it again. But the problem is this is now almost 100 years ago, and everybody's watching Israel do that now in Palestine. I mean, they want to feed Palestinians to crocodiles. Honestly, I don't care how Israel wants to handle its business. I want nothing to do with it. If the Israelis want to vote people in and the people that they vote in say feed Palestinians to crocodiles, I want nothing to do with it. I don't want to get involved in Israel's affairs. The problem is I subsidize their entire existence, so I kind of have the right to, actually. And so that's the issue here. But now you have these kids, they didn't grow up like the boomers did, dealing with directly the World War II propaganda, the images, the sights, the brutality. Now these kids are growing up and they see that Israel is doing this. Now these kids are growing up on social media and they see what Israel has done to Palestine, and they see what Israel is doing to Lebanon. And they see that Israel, as far as they can tell, is worse than the Nazis. They didn't grow up in the World War II era. They didn't grow up watching all of those images hit the airwaves, hit the textbooks for the first time. They're watching this happen in Palestine. They're watching this happen in southern Lebanon. And so, oh, you are the ones that created this environment where you reject that type of monstrous behavior. Remember the Holocaust, you reject this, but then they're told to support it if Israel is doing it. And it's not going so well. Flock cameras are our Boston Harbor. Yes, yes, yes. Patriot Party is the name and has always been the name since so many of us began thinking we could, in fact, get rid of the out-of-control government and deep state. Let's not forget us active boomers. We love our boomers. We might even name the groundhog after you. We literally have nothing to lose. 1776 Part 2. Patriot Party, you mean like Trump, Patel, and Bongino? No, they're Republicans. They are pro-Israel Republicans. But I'm assuming you're just joking. The only thing Musk funding is a brain chip. Well, he's funding much more than that. They're all patriots until they see the reptilians. You know, when are we going to get the reptile alien reveal? Where are the aliens, by the way? We haven't had aliens in the news for a minute. Only one way out of this, and it's not by fake voting. Libertarian Redhead Josie interviewed James Fishback. Kent Tulsi, 2028. Yeah, well, I wonder what Tulsi might think about all this. I wonder what even RFK Jr. might think about all this. There will be people on the left that join this coalition. Absolutely. Now, the only thing to consider now is how successful will the Democrats be in the next 2 years. But if the Democrats fail, if the Democrats can't take Congress, or if they do take Congress and then they don't deliver for their voters, then there will be a lot of leftists that would join a third party. Especially if RFK Jr. or Tulsi Gabbard came aboard, it would be a massive coalition. It'd basically be the MAGA coalition, just a little more primed, a little more sharp, a little more on edge to look out for, betrayal. But it'd really just be reforming the MAGA coalition that won in 2016, 2020, and 2024. Just this time, we won't allow it to be sold out to foreign interests. You claim to serve American democracy while bowing to foreign lobbyists. You say you're protecting Israel's right to exist. Fine, then you have my permission to watch your own democracy die. Bane, The Dark Knight Rises. I think you're paraphrasing here. I don't think that was the exact quote. I don't know. I don't remember it like that. It was close. Thank you, Pakistan American for Liberation. Thank you. We aren't a democracy. Don't blame the constitutional republic for the fraud we have now. Don't lose your mind in the chaos. I said we aren't a democracy, though. Did you miss that segment? You don't wear Groyper Epstein quarter zips? Guys, here's my thing. And I've said it before, and I'll continue to say it. I don't really do the personality infighting. I don't. And the only time I do that is when somebody wants to come after me. So I never draw first blood. So if somebody wants to come after me, okay, I'll get into it. Or like, for example, Andrew Wilson, he disagrees with me on an issue and he says, let's have a debate. I'll have a debate. But it's like, I get along with everybody. And I think it's very important for us to be able to have passionate disagreements and political debates and not fall into the trap of hating one another. Or it's like, can't we debate and still get along? Like, I don't know. That's how I grew up. But I can get along with Andrew Wilson. I can get along with Owen Benjamin. I can get along with everybody. I'm not interested in attacking people in the media unless they're blatantly lying or engaging in propaganda. I focus on policy. I focus on results. And I focus on the politicians that are in power. That's my focus. I'm not over here looking all of these other people in the media that are doing their own thing. It really doesn't care. It doesn't matter to me. If Nick Fuentes wants to sell an Epstein quarter zip or if he wants to sell a Che Guevara sweatshirt, it doesn't matter. Nick can do whatever he wants. He's a free American, just like everybody else. I'm not bothered by other people in the media doing their own thing. I'm bothered by the people that sit there and their job is to lie to you. I'm bothered by people that are up there pretending to be truth tellers, but they're propagandists. And I'm looking at the people in power and saying, where are our results? Why are you giving bad policies? That's what I do. So I don't really care about all the personality conflicts. I try to get along with everybody. If you don't come for me, I'll probably leave you alone. And then everybody can reach their own conclusions. But I don't like all the independent media infighting, I have to tell you. But that's fine. Hey, I just don't do it. It's just not for me. It's not part of the show here. The Slaying Tech Demons Fund. Majestic Camels. Yeah, we need one of those. Or we need like a seance, an exorcism in here. Groundhog name, Flocker. Not bad. Boomer, it still edges it out. But I like Flocker. It's a good attempt. Vincent Kennedy McMahon for president. I do think there will be a celebrity or two or even athlete dark horse in 2028. I do think we will see something like that. DJT copy pasted word for word his previous endorsement for Byron. Yeah, and did you see too? I love how they do this. Oh, all the Trump-backed candidates won. Well, not all of them. In fact, one lost to some guy who wasn't even running. A Trump-backed candidate lost to a guy that wasn't even in the race anymore, who dropped out. And I love how Trump sends out these, it's like, oh, Trump's endorsement wins, and then the picture is Trump, and the guy who won is like in the background behind him. It's like, oh my God, this guy's ego, it has conquered him. I don't think Trump has anything left except his ego, honestly. And as long as you know how to stroke that ego and tell him that, hey, this is going to be good for your popularity, he buys it. And as long as it makes him money, I guess he doesn't care anything else. But the fact that they sent out those Trump endorsement victories and it's a big picture of Trump with the candidate like sitting on his shoulder like a mini guy, perfect encapsulation of Trump's ego. Tucker Candace ticket to avenge CK and save us. I don't know about that. I don't know. See, the thing with people in the media is the reason why people like me go into media and not politics is because politics is extremely corrupt. You become corruptible and you just don't even want to deal with it. It's like you don't even want to go to D.C. You don't even want to deal with the political world. Tucker does not want to run, guys. Okay? If he does, it's going to be because he feels like he has to do it or they twist his arm to do it. So anyway, I think the same thing about Candace. I don't think Candace wants to run. I think Candace is perfectly happy at home running her show and having children. So I don't really think there's any interest on the Candace Owens front to run. You know what would be funny though? She could do like a pump fake, like she was gonna run, just to watch all the people panic. That would be funny. King Adal, Trump destroying the White House for his ballroom, tearing up the lawn for his helipad. All the nonsense with the reflecting pool is all perfect symbolism for what he was doing to the country, a giant, gaping, ruinous hole. Yeah. Pretty much sums it up. Leon lately, Owen, you are a true patriot for spitting facts. Love your show from far away in Ireland. How about that? To our Irish friends out there. Kenny Ward, why are you more aligned with Cenk Uyghur and Kyle Kalinske now than Sean Faresh and Gunther Eagleman? You have changed, bro. I can barely listen anymore. Okay, and yet here you are. I'm not aligned. I'm aligned with values, okay? I'm aligned with principles, values, policies, and issues. I'm not aligned with people, okay? If people happen to align with me on politics, then that's just how the game is played. I don't align. You say I'm more aligned with Uyghur and Kalinske than Gunther and Sean. Well, why? Is it because I don't support our foreign policy? Is it because I want mass deportations and we're not getting them? Is it because I want deep state arrests and we're not getting them? See, I think you're asking the wrong question. This is the entire wrong angle to take. The question here isn't why is Owen Schroyer more aligned with Uyghur or Kalinske than Farash and Eagleman? They're not aligned with anything. These are just MAGA brands. Farash and Eagleman, without Trump, what do they have? They're just Trump promotion accounts. They're just Trump brand accounts. There's nothing there. What do these people do post-Trump? How long can Sean Faresh live off of being a Trump impersonator? Anybody can do it, by the way. Not that hard. You're really not that talented, are you? Not that original. People have been mimicking Trump for a long time, long before Mr. Faresh started doing it, selling Trump gear. Long time. No, the question you should be asking is, why are Uyghur and Kalinske more rational now than Trump supporters? Or why do leftists like Uyghur and Kalinske make more sense when it comes to a foreign policy approach? That's the question you should be asking. But the answer to that might be a little scary. Might have to make some admissions about Trump. I meant that when Ben goes to bed, some of us are going to work. No, I know what you meant. Do you think Ben Shapiro has ever had a job? Oh, well, he hosts a talk show. You know what I mean. Speaking of loans, Jewish and Muslims both have options for usury-free loans in the U.S. Actual Americans do not. I don't even want to get into that. That's a long debated issue. There's some truth to it, but it's not. Believe me, you go, if you have a Jewish neighbor or something, like you go tell them this, they're going to be like, huh? They're going to be like, oh, there's free money. Most Jewish Americans are not getting free money. Now, there are things. There's elements of truth to that, but generally speaking, I think that, I don't know. I've looked into that, and it's hard to land on that is universally true. I've never heard it about Muslims. But there's all kinds of advantages. That's what I'm saying. There's all kinds of advantages out there as long as you're not a white heritage American. There's all these advantages in the system that you can take advantage of. That is, unless you are a white male American. Then you have nothing. Then you have to pay the full price for everything. No legs up, no advantages for you. Anybody else gets all the advantages. Used to send black faxes to various Holly museums. Oh, boy. Fish back for Florida quarter zips. I don't want to go to D.C. and Mar-a-Lago because I don't want to swim in the shit. AJ. That's, yeah. Pretty much sums it up. And, they kind of do it intentionally. And that's why with Trump's first term, it was so fun, because we really did take over D.C. It's the swamp now, guys. It's the swamp. You don't see MAGA parties in D.C. You don't see Trump supporters going to D.C., having fun, doing videos at the White House, everything else. You see the specially chosen people that get access, and the rest of us get nothing. Nobody goes and has parties in D.C. There's no MAGA movement in D.C. There's no MAGA vibe, MAGA aura in D.C. There was 2017, 18, and 19. We ran that city. And the politicos and the hoity-toities and the better-than-yous, they hated it. They hated that we took over D.C. It doesn't exist anymore. I'm telling you, it's right back to where it was. Maybe we can take it back. They hated it, guys. They hated it when MAGA took over. They hated your hats. They hated your blue jeans. They hated the salt of the earth average American MAGA that took over D.C. those years. And it's not there anymore. It's not there. All right. All right, we sign off for the day. We didn't even get to all the news. I need to just stop my obsession with news, I feel like. I feel like we need to do a People's Report and take calls. I'm supposed to have 2 guests tomorrow. We'll see what happens with the audio. I don't know. I have no idea. We'll see if we can't figure that out. Otherwise, we take a 20-and-a-half-hour break. We'll do the same thing. Same time, same channel tomorrow. God bless. Godspeed.